Y'all know normally we don't do intros, but obviously this is a little bit of a special episode because we are talking about a movie, and for you to understand what is going on, you need to know the synopsis of the movie, right? So I'll just give y'all the TLDR here. I'll give y'all the rundown. There's this movie called Ipar Adalah Maut, which is obviously the sponsor of today's episode. And so the synopsis of the story goes, there's this character named Nisa and her husband Aris. They had the perfect fairy tale marriage, right? Introduced their newborn, and then for whatever reason, which we're gonna talk about pretty soon, Nisa's mother requested that Nisa's sister Rani, who you play, comes live with Nisa and her husband. And of course, her husband, and then what happens is her husband Aris and her little sister ends up having an affair with one another, and then shit just goes down the toilet from there. And so I guess where I want to start this is, when I read the synopsis of the movie, my first question, the first thing that I thought about was, what was the reason Nisa's mother wanted Nisa's sister to go live with Nisa and her husband? Because I was thinking about it. I was like, that's a bit of a, like, don't you think that's a bit of a weird request to make of your child? It's like, hey, I know you're married, and I'm sure you're having hot, fiery, passionate sex with your husband every night. But like, is it okay if your sister comes live with you? Like, agak aneh gak sih?
Kayaknya kalau menurut aku ya, di Indonesia itu udah menjadi hal yang sangat normal. Karena nggak cuman adik ipar sebenarnya, kayak masih tinggal sama nenek, masih tinggal sama kakak, adik, om, siapapun itu kayaknya udah menjadi hal yang normal. Karena di Indonesia kan mikirnya kayak contohnya ibunya Nisa ini, Rani ini termasuk anak yang susah diatur, masih anak muda yang mencari jati diri, nyoba-nyoba apapun, jadi kayak dia harus kuliah di luar kota. Udahlah, tinggal aja sama mbakmu, biar kamu dijagain, nggak usah ngekos gitu. Jadinya itu pemikiran awal ibunya aku. Jadi ya Rani pun juga jadi harus satu tempat tinggal sama Nisa. Dan di film ini juga aku sebagai Rani ngerasa kayak, kok nggak percaya sih sama anaknya kayak gitu. Tapi sebenarnya kalau di Indonesia ini banyak banget sih terjadi. Dan aku pun ternyata nggak tahu kalau itu tuh kalau dalam hadis ya, karena Ipar Adalah Maut ini kan hadis.
Right, cause sorry for context, this is a Muslim family, right?
Iya.
Okay.
Iya.
Mungkin jelasin lagi hadis.
Iya, jadi hadis ini kan ada bunyi hadis riwayat Al-Bukhari. Al-Maut, apa sih? Al-Maut, Al-Hamu, Al-Mautu. Itu tuh artinya ipar adalah kematian. Yang artinya yang diartikan Ipar Adalah Maut, yang nggak ngebolehin ipar tinggal sama iparnya juga, which is di film ini diceritakan.
Maksudnya there is an actual Islamic teaching that says
tidak boleh,
nggak boleh.
Tapi itu tuh hadis, jadi boleh dilakuin, boleh tidak, gitu.
Optional.
Jadi nggak wajib, ya.
Optional.
Tapi disarankan enggak.
Oke.
Karena ditakutkan hal-hal seperti ini terjadi.
Ya, disarankannya ada alasannya ya.
Iya.
Oke.
Dan karena di Indonesia hal ini nggak begitu masih normal, malah tinggal sama keluarga dan lain-lain, karena masalah penjagaan lah, takut nakal lah, takut kenapa-napa, jadinya malah nakal di sini gitu ya. Gitu sih.
Do you think if it was her son, she would have still made the same request?
Enggak sih kayaknya ya.
Ya kan?
Kalau anaknya laki-laki kayaknya ya udah gitu. Mungkin anak perempuan kali ya. Jadi lebih dijaga mungkin.
Karena it's also true in real life here in Indonesia.
Di Indonesia ya.
That people tend to give more leniency to boys than they do for girls. What was the primary reason Rani and Nisa's mother wanted Rani to live with Nisa? Was it mainly socio-economic, biar nggak usah keluar duit ngekos, atau is it because kan tadi kamu bilang Rani's a bit of a rambunctious character,
karena itu
nakal?
Kalau untuk ekonomi sih nggak begitu utama ya. Kalau di film diceritakan karena Rani itu kan bertemannya kebanyakan laki-laki, terus anaknya pemberani, anaknya di keluarga juga kan anak paling kecil, jadi selalu dimanja. Dan ibunya kayak, aduh, nggak percaya kalau Rani tinggal sendiri nih, bisa nggak ya?
Is it a question of, is my youngest daughter independent enough to live alone?
Yes.
Kayak gitu juga. So like there's an element of like, apa sih? My mom does this to me because I'm the only child. I'm the only child. Also clearly I'm like a daughter. So there's this element of like I don't think you are competent enough
To
to live alone.
Yeah.
There's a bit of that element. And sometimes I do wonder, I've never asked this of my mother, I wonder if I were her son, if she would still treat me the same way, or if it's like something that is associated with gender in this culture.
Kayaknya gitu deh.
Kalau di Indo itu masih tinggal bersama multi-generational families itu masih hal yang lazim ya.
Iya.
So like living, because what I normally see is one family, so there's your mom and dad, and then the kids or like the kid, and then you live with your grandparents still. Itu masih itu di Indo tuh masih banyak ya.
Tapi mungkin kalau untuk angkatan kita zaman sekarang kayak udah banyak yang sendiri kali ya. Tapi kayak contohnya kayak tante aku masih tinggal sama oma aku.
Your aunt,
Yes, kakaknya papaku
lives with your grandma.
ya.
Ah, okay.
Dengan keluarga besar, keluarganya juga dengan suaminya.
Yeah. Sometimes too, like you hear stories of like kalau di Indo kayak orang yang udah tua, dalam artinya mungkin like above marriage age, like maybe like above 30 kayak gitu, tapi masih tinggal dengan orang tuanya kayak gitu, even though maybe they are married, or maybe it's because they're not married.
Ya,
Kalau di Indo kan kalau belum menikah nggak boleh tinggal sendirian kan?
Biasanya ya.
Ya, culture-nya masih kayak gitu. Cuma I was wondering kalau di Indonesia nih, karena ingat juga yang penting ingat itu kan Indonesia is not just Jakarta.
Yeah.
Right? It's not just Jakarta, it's not just Surabaya. So like I'm wondering if in Indonesia, I'm not talking about the movie, I'm talking in Indonesia, do you think that most people in Indonesia still do this? Is it just because it's cultural tradition and that's what people do and so they don't want to break away from that? Or is it because of social economics? Because like fact of the matter is most Indonesians are poor.
Sebenarnya banyak faktor ya menurut aku, tapi didasarin kayaknya emang semua orang udah menganggap itu adalah hal yang normal dan wajar, dan ya kan kita keluarga, gitu. Nggak mungkin lah ipar kayak gini selingkuh dan lain-lain, nggak mungkin lah bakal ada ini, karena ya kekeluargaan itu.
Padahal correct me if I'm wrong, isn't this movie based on a real story?
Yeah. In Indonesia, yeah.
No, and like you hear other instances, like banyak orang story, like they share stories on online kayak gitu, of like, like my husband slept with my sister.
Yeah.
Or like, I don't know, like there's also one I saw on Reddit of like the mother sleeping with the husband. It was fucked up.
Tapi ya jadinya karena film ini difilmkan, mulai tuh banyak orang cerita kayak, aku juga kayak gini, adikku juga selingkuh, ini aku juga selingkuh, ipar dalam moto juga terjadi di aku, di ini. Ternyata orang Indonesia itu banyak banget ngalamin hal serupa kayak gini, tapi mungkin dia selama ini nge-keep terus karena bagi mereka mungkin aib keluarga kali ya. Aib keluarga dan yang nggak berani speak up aja. Akhirnya karena film ini difilmkan, jadinya semua orang udah mulai berani speak up, dan ya ini juga ya tujuan utamanya untuk ngajarin orang-orang sih untuk nge-teach kalau hal-hal kayak gini mungkin perlu perlu diwaspadai. Kalau bisa, kalau emang nggak itu ya nggak usah, karena kan ini juga bisa dibilang hadis. Untuk bagi beberapa agama Islam ini juga termasuk dilarang lah gitu.
Right. Number one, for me personally, like where my thought is at currently is, number one, I don't know. I'm so sorry if this sounds really mean, but it's just I don't know how fucked up you have to be as a person to like bayangin kayak like I've heard stories of like ada yang cerita di Reddit kayak gitu, my mother slept with my husband, my sister slept with my husband, my brother slept with my wife, gitu. Like within the nuclear family kayak gitu, and I'm just like I don't understand kok bisa ya. Ya kok bisa kayak gitu, right? Tapi mungkin itu ada like there's a lot of psychological reasons behind it.
Aku juga saat ngebaca skenario ini kayak, gimana kok bisa gitu? Kok Rani bisa-bisanya berpikir bisa selingkuh sama suami kakaknya?
But at the same time I acknowledge how gimana ya? At the same time, it doesn't matter that how close you are as a family. It doesn't matter whether or not you are family and you're tied together by blood. There is a level of caution that I think everybody should have with everybody, regardless of your familial status, kan? Because intinya tuh kayak gini. At the same time, I'm not surprised karena apa? Sebenarnya pada dasarnya humans are stupid.
Yeah.
And humans are horny. I'm just gonna say it. Humans are stupid and we're horny. You put those two together, it's a horrible combination, right? So it's like, it's that. And part of it too, like, the conversation that I wanted to have today. What I find very interesting about Asian family dynamics, one thing that stands out for me as somebody who comes from a more westernized background is the lack of personal boundaries.
Yeah, batasan-batasan ya.
Yeah, nggak kayak beneran gak ada privacy. Ya, oke, semua keluarga itu tergantung ya. Like every family is different. But I see it a lot with my Indonesian friends that come from very Indonesian families. It's like
semua harus diceritakan.
Well,
gitu kan.
or even actually, can I ask, did you always have your own room growing up?
Yeah, of course.
Like you didn't sleep with your parents? Yeah. Karena itu banyak anak-anak Asia itu that's a common experience.
Iya ya. Kalau aku sih, aku deket banget sama keluarga aku, tapi aku tetap punya privacy sendiri.
Yeah, okay.
Even kadang kayak adik aku deket banget sama adik aku yang perempuan, tapi once dia kayak, Kavina aku mau tidur dong di kamar Kavina terus, aku kayak enggak, aku harus sendiri. Dan mungkin tergantung keluarga masing-masing kali ya. Aku termasuk yang apa-apa cerita sama kakak, sama mama, tapi tetap ada batasan-batasan yang harus aku kasih lah gitu.
Right.
Ya buat privacy diri sendiri aja sih.
Right. The thing is, I was talking about this with Peter. Peter's one of the production assistant on my team.
Oh, okay.
So I was talking about this with Peter, and of course it's important to keep in mind socio-economic factors. The reason why it's very common in Indonesia for families to sleep in one room. Pernah kan lihat keluarga-keluarga seperti itu di Indonesia? Like they literally, like there's no concept of like a private bedroom. Everybody sleeps in the same room. Together. Mom, dad, siblings, everybody. Grandma's there. And like, and part of the reason why is because of socio-economics. Obviously, if you come from a poor family, you don't afford much, right? But then I think there's also this cultural element, because I remember back in, I think this was middle school or high school, but I knew this one Filipino student, and so she was saying how like everybody in the family lives together, like it sleeps in the same room, because ya karena itu, it's like we're family, like what are you trying to hide? Kayak gitu. I feel like, dan kalau dibawa ke Jakarta di mana not everybody, we don't live in like financial destitution perhaps like compared to people in rural areas, like we have a little bit of socio-economic like security, but at the same time like Indonesian culture itu emang kayak gitu kan, very collectivistic,
kebanyakan gitu.
Ya, jadi I find like it's a very maybe interesting amalgam of the two, where maybe mungkin saja ya, I'm just speculating to be honest, where like mungkin alasannya cuma ya biar listrik gak mahal, kalau banyak hemat listrik kayak gitu, tapi juga ya kan ya kita keluarga ya, kenapa enggak?
Iya, kenapa gitu harus ditutupin?
Do you feel like that's problematic?
Untuk aku sih, aku ya dibilang problematic, mungkin lebih ke nggak cocok aja sih sama aku. Aku nggak bakal mau kayak gitu. Even nanti aku berkeluarga, aku mungkin nggak ngikutin yang kayak gitu. Karena aku ya ngerasa sebagai anak sekarang kayak semua harus keluarga tahu, semua harus satu ruangan, semua ini itu kayak aku nggak setuju ya hal kayak gitu, karena setiap orang pasti punya privacy, even keluarga.
Right. No, on a personal level, like level pribadi sih, I agree with you. Like I am very much like I need my personal space.
Yeah.
Also, I'm so sorry if this sounds really harsh, but I think I would. You know how a lot of in Indonesia, it's very common. Even after you get married, you live with your mother-in-law, like your parents-in-law, or your own parents. Biasanya kan ikut cowoknya kan. Biasanya. So it's like if you're the woman, you come live with your husband's mom and dad. Oh, tapi juga ada sih sebenarnya yang ikut dengan kayak orang tuanya ceweknya. Tapi intinya, no, I am so sorry, but I've thought about this. I think I would rather kill myself than have to have sex with my partner in the same house that my mother lives in. I am so sorry, but the thought of that is just, it's fucking mortifying to me. And like that's just like all I think about. Like, well, not all I think about.
Kok bisa ya orang gitu ya?
Yeah. As in, it's just, I think everybody has different thresholds of privacy. I guess I just have I have like a higher. Would be a higher threshold or lower threshold? I have a higher threshold of like privacy that I want in my life, I suppose, and like a degree of separation from my mother. My mom's a single mom. I don't have a dad. Just for context. But do you think on a societal level, do you think on a cultural level it's problematic that gimana ya? How should I phrase the question? But do you feel like in Indonesian society as a whole, like yes, we are collectivistic, we're very family oriented, and those are definitely good things. I'm not saying that those are horrible things, but too much of a good thing can also be bad.
Yes.
Do you think we do it too much as a culture?
Menurut aku kalau hal kayak tadi too much, dan aku
kayak
sendiri
families living in one house kayak gitu ya?
Iya, karena ya gimana ya, aku juga bingung jelasinnya. Intinya dari agama aja itu nggak disarankan untuk tinggal seperti itu, karena ya pasti kan ada reason di balik itu kenapa dilarang. Padahal kalau ditanya, tapi kan kekeluargaan, tapi kenapa di agama nggak disarankan? Mau itu ipar, mau itu siapa? Karena kalau ini contohnya ipar adalah maut, tapi kan ada juga mertua adalah maut tuh juga ada loh.
Oh iya.
Kemarin kita anak-anak ipar adalah maut, kita ada talk show di Gailah. Itu tuh ada bapak-bapak yang dia merasakan mertua adalah maut. Dia speak up dan kita kayak
that his siapa ini dia cewek
cowok yang cerita.
Cowok mertua.
Jadi istrinya sama ya bapaknya. Jadi kita kemarin itu jadi kayak oh wow, jadi nggak cuman ipar adalah maut, tapi mertua adalah maut juga bisa. Jadi kita nggak bisa ngomongin ipar doang ya. Mungkin di keluarga itu ya lebih baik kita tinggal sendiri-sendiri aja untuk menghindari itu dan menjaga privasi kita. Iya, buktinya itu deh, kita anggap itu keluarga yang melahirkan kita, maksudnya yang itu orang tua kita yang ngerawat kita dari kecil, kok bisa? Jadi sekarang hal-hal kayak gitu tuh ya makanya di agama mungkin dilarang ya, dianjurkan untuk tidak melakukan itu karena ya bisa terjadi hal yang nggak kita sangka.
Di sini ada yang for those of you watching, the MD Pictures team is in the back. Ada yang Kristen nggak di sini? Are you Christian? What does the Bible say about this, like living with your in-laws kayak gitu?
Ada larangan gitu.
Ada larangannya nggak? Cause I'm Buddhist, I don't know.
Kayaknya nggak ada.
Nggak ada ya?
But I'm not sure.
Okay.
Not that I know of.
Yeah, not that I know of either. I went to a Catholic school. Like I don't know about that. But I think ini menarik nih. Why do you think in cultures like Indonesia there is such a strong sense of like we have to live together? Where do you think that comes from?
Ya mungkin ya karena itu tadi faktor ekonomi, uangnya mungkin kurang banyak, jadi udahlah satu ruangan satu rumah. Dan mungkin kebanyakan mereka tuh yang nikah belum mikirin ke depan kali ya, kayak belum menyiapkan semuanya. Jadi ya udahlah tinggal aja sama orang tua aku ada rumah dan lain-lain.
What I find interesting, like this is a very stark difference between Western culture and Eastern culture. In Western culture, there's none of this notion where because you are my child, because you are family and we are binded together by blood, we are connected by blood, that I am responsible for your well-being and that I have to take care of you. Apalagi if we're gonna talk about, ini kita ngomongin anak ke orang tua dulu deh.
Yeah.
In Western culture, there's not much of the sense of because you are my parent, I have to take care of you once you're older, as a form of balas budi.
Yeah.
Whereas that's a very, very Asian thing.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's part of it. I feel like that is a social. If we're going to talk about social politics here, I feel like that is a social factor that plays into it. Where, to be honest, I've met a lot of Indonesians di mana mereka itu very family oriented. Itu bukan karena sebenarnya kalau menurut aku ya bukan karena murni mereka itu emang orangnya family oriented. They feel that they're obligated to be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know people like that?
Banyak deh kayaknya ya mungkin di Indonesia yang kayak gitu. Bahkan jadinya kalau dia tidak melakukan itu kayak, ih kalau nggak gitu sih sama keluarga lo, ini bapak lo, ini nyokap lo, ini kakak lo, malah dijudge kayak gitu. Padahal sebenarnya apalagi gimana ya, emang bener sih laki-laki itu juga tetap bertanggung jawab lah. Tapi mungkin banyak yang disalahgunakan kali ya. Jadinya malah kayak kalau nggak gini, ya bener jadi kayak malah balas budi.
And tying to the movie, to be honest, what I guess like from my own point of view, like what I find weird is that I don't see why Nisa has, kan maminya bilang ke Nisa like basically ya take care of your little sister, right? How old are you in the movie?
19.
You know, like 19, college. Baru mau kuliah kan? As opposed to Nisa itu udah
20
something kan, udah married woman kayak gitu.
Udah punya anak satu.
Well, intinya tuh kayak gini, you're already in the movie, right? Ronnie is 19 years old. Why you don't have to have your older sister be responsible for you? You know what I mean? So I think like it stems from that too, which balik lagi yang what we were saying. I think like Ronnie's mom just doesn't trust her either, like because it's Ronnie, it's her personality, or also because she's a woman.
Mungkin anak perempuan di luar kota sendiri kayaknya takutnya kenapa-napa di luar kota. Jadi kayak udahlah tinggal sama mbakmu, diantar pulang pergi sama mbakmu.
Yeah. You know what's really annoying? It's still really common here in Indonesia for me to hear people say, tapi kalau anak cewek jangan dibiarin sekolah jauh-jauh.
Yeah.
I hear that so much, and I can't even begin to explain how much that makes me really angry. Like you're forfeiting your daughter's education. You're robbing her the opportunity to pursue her education. What? All because, nah ini pertanyaan aku, what do you think she's going to do? Nah itu pertanyaan aku tiap kali aku dengar, and I've met these people in real life, and I've actually I've asked. Never ends well, they end up hating me. But I've deadass I've confronted them okay, emang kalau anak perempuannya sekolah jauh,
ngapain gitu ya?
Emang bakal ngapain? And then they never give me a coherent answer. I was like, ya bukan ya ngapa-ngapain ya, ya bukan ngapa-ngapain ya, cuma ya kan kalau bisa hindarin apa. And they can't answer. You come with your own
mungkin sebenarnya banyak ketakutan orang tua ya, tapi sebenarnya bukan hanya perempuan sih harusnya, mungkin laki-laki juga harusnya juga dijaga seperti itu. Atau mungkin
tapi ketakutannya apa?
Ya mungkin kayak sama laki-laki lah, apalah, ngerti nggak sih, tinggal bareng sama laki atau apa-apa, mungkin hal-hal seperti itu yang emang dihindarkan. Terus ya contohnya gimana ya, hamil di luar nikah atau apa yang tidak diinginkan. Tapi ya sebenarnya kalau mau membahas itu nggak cuma perempuan, maksudnya jangan perempuan aja gitu.
Jangan sampai your son goes live and impregnates another woman.
Itu
ya kan.
Dan just educate your son and daughter gitu kan.
No, but I think that, but I wouldn't support that even if you were to say that anak laki-laki jangan dibiarin sekolah jauh-jauh, tapi intinya ujung-ujungnya you're preventing your child from pursuing an education, from pursuing living life to their fullest extent. What? Because you don't trust them on the basis of your assumptions of what they would do.
Berarti lo yang kurang mendidik gitu dong.
Dan sebenarnya itu salahnya kamu, mungkin kurang mendidik anak. If you don't, here's the thing. It's back to Ronnie's mom, Nisa and Ronnie's mom. If you don't trust your child at the age of 19. If you don't trust your child at the age of 19 to be an adult, live like an adult, and make adult decisions, I feel like that's a shortcoming of your parenting. Yeah, nggak sih? That's an issue with your parenting. Because me personally, by the time I hit 17, my mom, I guess she's a little more, and also every parent is different, I understand. But at least for me personally, I don't know about you, but when I hit 17, that was when my mom was like, okay, I can't tell you shit anymore.
Oh yeah?
That was when I hit 17. Karena kalau di Indo kan 17 kan biasanya.
Tapi kalau aku bukan berarti nggak mau mamaku langsung kayak, oke, lo hidup sendiri dan lain-lain. Aku juga di satu sisi kurang setuju kayak gitu untuk diri aku, karena aku masih butuh mamaku, dan ya aku juga tinggal sama mamaku aja, nggak sama papaku. Jadi kayak dan mamaku maksudnya yang belum nikah lagi dan lain-lain, jadi kayak aku juga mungkin itu dari anak juga kali ya, kalau aku nyaman untuk cerita sama mamaku dan lain-lain, tapi pun nggak sedilarang itu. Aku mau kemana ya udah, tapi ya kita jadi kayak teman curhat, dan yang emang apa ya, kekeluargaan masih kenceng tapi tetap ada boundaries itu gitu. Bukan kayak kamu nggak boleh gini, udah kamu tinggal sama ini, kamu ini, nggak segitunya gitu sih. Dan itu hal yang aku nggak setuju. Kalau orang tua overthinking dan takut anaknya kenapa-napa, ya wajar orang tua ingin ngejaga. Tapi kalau untuk yang terlalu berlebihan, itu malah kadang ya aku ngerasa anak-anak yang terlalu dikekang sama orang tuanya, malah dia penasaran, dia jadi
rebel.
Iya. Dan kebanyakan gitu kan. Aku ngelihat ya, maksudnya ini kayak gini, dia strict parents tahu gini. Hah, kok bisa ya? Karena mungkin itu kali ya.
Me.
Kamu gitu.
I'll tell you based off of my experience, the kids that grew up with very overly strict helicopter parents like me, you know the one thing that we're very good at? Lying.
Iya.
Yeah.
Jadinya mencari jalan keluarnya dengan berbohong.
Yeah, of course.
Dan jago banget pasti.
Yeah.
Iya dong.
That's why when I was younger, I used to have to lie to my mom a lot because that was the only way that I could have a life. When I hit 17, my mom was very... dipikir-pikir, Mom, what the fuck is wrong with you? You're so extreme. No, because when all my life up until I hit 17, my mom was very would helicopter over me. Ooh. Right? By the time I hit 17, that's when she was like, okay, well, you're an adult now. I shouldn't have to look up. She still looks after me. Don't get me wrong. And to be honest, I'm 27 years old, and I live with my mom.
Okay.
And to be honest, like in my social circle, and coming from from a Western viewpoint, it's very weird to be 27 and still live with your mom.
Okay.
But when I hit 17, that was when my mom started to kind of like give me more freedom. And as she started giving me more freedom, she started to be more chill with me. Yeah, I don't have to lie to her so much. And now I just come clean to her of like, yeah, where I am, like where I'm going, who I'm with.
Well, it's good.
And it's a good thing. But I'm just speaking from experience. Like for any of you that are thinking of becoming parents or like our parents, some parents watch my show. And like, don't. Of course, I understand there is a level of responsibility you have to make sure your child is okay. Tapi jangan sampai berlebihan di mana ya ujung-ujungnya anak lu jadi rusak sih sebenarnya.
Iya, jadi terlalu dilarang nggak nyaman. Jadinya malah mencari jalan keluarnya dengan berbohong.
Iya.
Yang penting orang tua gue nggak marah. Gitu kan?
Iya.
Ya, jadi berbohong dan malah lebih buruk nggak sih?
Yeah. And I will say like it's a very Western thing that by the time you graduate college, you're supposed to live alone. Your parents basically kick you out. And in some cultures, they actually do. Like, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think Mela Carly was the one who told me this. In the Netherlands, Belanda, when you hit 18, they kick you out.
Oh.
Yeah.
Gak cewek, gak cowok?
Gak cewek, gak cowok. Go live alone.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's a very Western thing. Tapi kalau, I guess like a more American way, well also like UK to be honest, it's a more of a Anglo-Saxon country thing where after you graduate college, you're supposed to live alone. Tapi belakangan ini sih itu fenomenanya udah mulai berubah karena apa? Karena COVID and like the economy is getting harder, and that's why now there is actually like in the West, there's this movement to normalize living with your parents after college. Harus dinormalisasi karena itu for the longest time itu dianggap sesuatu yang nggak
patut aja gitu ya.
Yeah, it's like no, you're an adult, you're supposed to live alone. But it's like now maklumin because like money's tough. And sih to be honest, like in my experience, and mom, I love you, but it's like yes, like sometimes living with your parent is not like.
Tapi boleh nggak?
What?
Kamu live alone?
Well,
with your mom. Maksudnya mama kamu izinin itu nggak?
If I wanted to live alone?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, okay.
Safety.
I see.
It's not a marriage thing. It's just a safety thing. If you're a woman living alone, tahu kan?
Yeah.
So it's just, it's because of that. And at the same time, I don't know. If you had a son, would you let your son live alone?
Kalau dia emang udah berpenghasilan dan emang aku rasa mampu, ya nggak masalah sih. Dan aku nggak matokin umur ya.
Iya.
Ya lo matangnya berapa? Silakan. Dan mungkin aku kalau ke anak cowok, aku juga nggak mau yang terlalu strict dan nggak mau terlalu nyantai juga sih. Iya, jadi lebih mau bikin anak tuh biar dia sadar akan diri sendiri, bukan karena didikan kita, bukan karena larangan kita, tapi karena enggak, gue kayak nggak baik kalau kayak gini, bukan yang kayak nyokap gue ngelarang gue gini, gue ini gitu. Malah gimana ya? Nah aku ngerasa aku pernah dilarang-larang juga, tapi lama-lama kalau kita bisa open up sama orang tua kita, sama kakak kita, sama keluarga kita lah, masalah apapun jadi kayak that's okay, nyokap jadi percaya, dan kita biasanya orang yang dikasih kepercayaan sama orang tua jadi menjaga itu, nggak mau.
It's also a communication thing. I feel as you age, you learn how to communicate with your parents, and your parents learn how to communicate with you. I noticed like at some point, as I was growing up, my mom stopped talking to me like I was a baby and started talking to me more like I'm an adult. You know what I mean?
It's like a good thing gak sih?
Apa?
It's a good thing gak sih?
No, it's a wonderful thing. Though. That's what I'm saying. It's like and also that's why like I think with this movement these days of like gentle parenting misalnya, like of like open communication with your child, treating your child with respect and like respecting their autonomy kayak gitu, like it goes a long way. Nah aku mau tanya, in the movie, si Rani when the mom was saying like go live with your sister, did Rani put up a fight?
Iya, dia sebenarnya nggak setuju.
Nggak mau kan?
Karena ini aku jelasin kenapa Rani, aku jadi tahu kan kenapa Rani bisa sampai selingkuh, karena emang dasarnya dari kecil orang tuanya itu
menekankan,
membeda-bedakan Rani dan Nisa.
Do the parents have like a favorite child or something?
Ya, lebih ke kayak Nisa tuh karena lebih gede, jadi ibunya lebih percaya. Itu Mbak Nisa waktu kuliah boleh tinggal sendiri. Kenapa aku nggak boleh? Itu Mbak Nisa boleh keluar sendiri. Aku nggak boleh. Karena aku juga anak mama, aku juga perempuan. Padahal kan emang gap year-nya juga lumayan jauh.
Then I guess in this case it's not a gender thing. It's like kan kadang-kadang kayak gitu kan. It's like, oh, you let my brother do whatever, but like you don't let me just because I'm a girl. But I think in Rani and Nisa's case, it's because Nisa maybe like the way her parents, the way her mother sees it is that Nisa's just more mature.
Iya.
Gitu
Karena
ya?
kan emang the gap year is jauh juga. Jadi emang kayak contohnya
berapa jauh sih?
10.
Oh ya.
Dan kayak contohnya aku sama adik aku deh.
Yeah.
Aku udah boleh pergi sendiri lah, nongkrong sama teman. Adik aku masih SMP, masih SD, kalau kan nggak mungkin dibiarin sendiri gitu. Kalau mama aku gitu, maksudnya kan kayak pulangnya naik apa gini. Kalau ada driver ya nggak apa-apa. Tapi kalau sama teman kemana-mana, mungkin lebih ke hal-hal kayak gitu. Tapi kan anak kecil nggak bisa memahami itu. Jadi dari kecil Rani tuh udah di otaknya iri lah, banyak keirian sama Nisa. Dan salahnya pada saat tinggal bareng, Nisa tuh sering ngomong kayak, tuh dek nyari suami kayak masmu, kayak Aris. Di otak Rani yang masih kecil, dan Rani itu nggak punya sosok bapak. Melihat sosok bapak dari isu, melihat sosok bapak di Aris kayak, kok baik banget ya, kok protektif banget ya ke gue. Dan pulang pergi dianterin naik mobil dan lain-lain. Dan dia juga, aduh ntar spoiler nggak ya? Pokoknya yang bener-bener di protect sama Aris. Padahal itu selayaknya ipar, selayaknya ipar ke adik, maksudnya ke adiknya pasangan lah. Ya kita harus berbuat baik. Tapi Rani kan salah tangkep. Nanggepnya, oh my god dia baik banget, dia protektif banget. Yang dari awal Rani juga ada boundary situ, ada batasan, dia adalah ipar gue nggak mungkin suka gitu. Tapi karena nggak ada di isu juga, terus ngeliat dia yang, aduh gue pengen nih punya pasangan kayak dia. Terus emang ada peluang Nisa lagi kerja di rumah cuman Aris Rani bla 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 bla, terjadilah hal perselingkuhan itu. Dan yang mana di lagi-lagi itu ada di hadis, kenapa dilarang. Harus ada batas karena kalau di Islam itu biasanya bukan mahram. Jadi yang nggak baik lah untuk tinggal satu tempat. Jadi ya udah di film ini ceritakan kayak gitu. Jadi harus ada batasan antara ipar dan anak. Dan ya itu ujung-ujungnya ibunya juga pasti ngerasa salah kan.
Nah, that was the other question. Is it the mom's fault that this happened?
Salah satunya iya bagi aku ya. Tapi mungkin kalau anaknya juga tahu batasan, ya nggak bakal terjadi juga. Iya kan? Jadi aku ngerasa ini salah satunya juga dari ibu. Dan emang kalau dari Rani, di karakter Rani juga, Rani ngeliat ini salah ibu. Suruh siapa ibu?
Rani said that.
Iya kan, iya. Rani kayak gitu di film.
I mean, shit, you're the homewrecker and you're blaming your mother.
Iya.
Damn, okay.
Wah, itu bener-bener di sini aku ngeliatnya udah istighfar aja, udah ngeliatnya parah banget lah si Rani ini. Udah nggak sama orang tuanya, ngambil pasangan kakaknya. Jadi emang kayak Rani,
lost a little bit of a lost cause. I wouldn't say, kalau dari pandangan aku ya, I wouldn't say it's the mom's fault. I wouldn't say it's the mom's fault. Here's the important thing, since we're having a discussion about home wrecking, right, and adultery, infidelity, which is a very hot topic on, people are so obsessed with placing blame, right? And if you really think about it, when it comes to, kalau kita ngomongin adultery sama infidelity, which by the way, adultery sama infidelity mungkin like ada orang yang like maybe some of you are confused, like what's the difference? Adultery is just in the context of marriage. That's adultery, but infidelity is like, okay, like if you're my girlfriend, I cheated on you, like that's infidelity, like without, outside of the bounds of marriage. But cheating, right, in general, people keep forgetting that it takes two to tango. Especially here in Indonesia, like what's very important to highlight is that because Indonesia is, can we admit that Indonesia is a bit of a sexist culture and very misogynistic, and ya tau lah kalau di sosial media ada kasus-kasus di mana like ada perselingkuhan kayak gitu yang selalu disalahin itu cewek aja mulu. Emang cowoknya nggak melakukan apa-apa.
Yeah.
You think the man just stood there and was like what, passive in all of this? So I think that's, you know, when we want to talk about the blame, every party involved in the explicit act of committing the cheating is at fault. So it's just to make it clear, it's Rani's fault. It's 100% Rani's fault.
Yeah.
It's also Aris's fault. But is the mom at fault? Do you think Rani's mother would have seen it coming, or was she just completely like kayak gak nyangka?
Nggak ada kepikiran dong.
Gak ada kepikiran ya?
Iya, karena di trailer ada ya, dari Rani kecil, Nisa pacaran sama Aris, Rani udah ngeliat, udah, oh iya kenalin Mas Aris, aku Rani adanya Mbak Nisa, udah kayak ya biasa aja, nothing happen. Dan itu kan gap year-nya juga jauh, 10 tahun.
I don't know. I'm the type that I am a proponent of exercising caution with everybody on anything.
Yeah.
Kayak maksudnya mungkin like ya ini kan juga maminya ya. Like sometimes like you have your blind spots when it comes to like your own child or like your own parent kayak gitu. Jadi mungkin like the mom was just I guess the mom didn't see it coming, and also what was the other thing I wanted to say? The mom I guess didn't, apa ya tadi aku mau ngomong, pokoknya ya nggak nyangka aja sih, jadi susah dibilang kalau itu salahnya juga. But did you kind of were you the one that made it possible for this to happen? Yeah, absolutely.
Iya. Ya itu mungkin karena hal seperti ini udah normal di Indonesia, tinggal sama iparnya, tinggal sama mertuanya, jadi nggak akan nyangka hal kayak gini bakal terjadi, karena mungkin udah turun temurun. Oh ya, ibu aku juga gitu, mama juga gitu, tinggal sama mertua waktu itu nggak apa-apa gini-gini. Kamu juga lah nggak apa-apa, tinggal aja sama mbakmu. Udah mungkin yang turun temurun, atau emang hampir semua orang melakukan itu biar aman atau karena faktor ekonomi. Jadi ya nggak mungkin mikir kayak gitu. Tapi ternyata di agama Islam ya, itu adalah sebuah hadis yang jarang orang tahu. Aku pun Muslim, aku nggak tahu ada hadis ini, ada larangan seperti ini, dan aku jadi ke-affect ke aku. Aku deket banget sama adik perempuan aku. Tapi jadinya nanti ketika aku menikah, aku kayaknya nggak bakal melakukan hal kayak gitu. Maksudnya dia tinggal sama aku, padahal yang tadinya udah sempat ada omongan, nah nanti kalau aku udah nikah duluan, kamu tinggal sama aku dong, temenin aku gini. Karena ya mikir nggak mungkin lah adik aku ngambil pasangan aku, iya dong. Nggak kepikiran, sama kayak yang dipikiran ibu mungkin. Nggak mungkin lah Rani ngambil pasangan Nisa. Terus sekarang jadi kayaknya nggak bisa nih gue kalau nikah. Ya udah masing-masing aja. Walaupun ya adik aku nggak bakal tinggal juga, tapi maksud aku ya sering-sering lah main gini. Tapi kayaknya itu mungkin bakal aku kurangin karena ada film ini juga, dan aku baru tahu itu adalah sebuah hadis.
When you have plans of getting married one day, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
When you get married one day, would you be okay if your mother asked to live with you and your partner?
No. Dan kayak mama aku bukan tipikal gitu deh.
Like kan? If she asked.
Iya, tapi kayak enggak. Just no. Gak bisa aja.
Yeah, no, I've told my mom well, no, I didn't even have to tell my mom, to be honest. My mom knows me well enough to know that.
Yeah.
Like if when I get married, I'm out.
Yeah.
Unless I live in the better house, then he comes live with me. But then
ayo.
We'll get a new place. Cari tempat tinggal yang baru aja.
Yeah.
So I'm just talking to like my audience, but I was telling Davina here how part of the reason why, like the inspiration I got for eating while discussing heavy topics on the podcast show is because I took it from the Bible. There's like the concept of breaking bread. Even though this isn't bread, this is pasta. So I'm breaking pasta. I'm breaking eggplant parmigiana, which oh my god. Let's talk about Aris.
Yes.
Nisa's husband. Who also, this got me so fucked up. Aris is Rani's university professor.
Iya. Makanya dia, aduh, kita spoiler ya. Pokoknya dia ya jadinya sering ketemu, nggak cuma di rumah. Di kampus juga. Ya berarti kan pulang pergi bareng dong.
Yeah.
Satu mobil, berdua doang.
Yeah.
ya nggak ada yang nyangka akan jadi seperti itu. Jadi ya sebenarnya banyak faktor sih.
It's giving. Did you watch Pretty Little Liars?
Shit, aku nontonnya yang Indo lagi. Karena teman aku main.
Ya.
Karena teman aku main, jadi kayak cuma nonton.
Tapi mungkin ceritanya sama. Ada yang
Sleep with.
yeah. Slept with the
Yeah.
professor before she knew that it was the professor.
Ya.
Ya, tapi ya kayak gitu.
Iya.
Do you know? Have you ever had anyone you know or like from your school
Enggak.
that slept with the teacher or professor?
Shit, enggak sih kayaknya.
Enggak ya?
Harusnya enggak ya.
Harusnya enggak.
Harusnya enggak ya. Atau mungkin aku yang belum denger aja. Tapi banyak ya.
I am not at liberty to talk about my high school.
Oke.
Nothing happened.
Oke, nothing happened ya.
Nothing happened.
Oke.
But my university, yes.
Oh,
I knew.
wait. High school?
I went to high school here.
Enggak, maksudnya high school emang ada?
No, nothing happened.
Enggak, aku kalau university aku mikirnya mungkin possible lah terjadi, tapi
Oh,
kalau
but you
high
don't think it would happen in high school?
Iya. I don't know. Maksudnya aku nggak pernah dengar tentang itu sama sekali ya.
Oh, you'd be so wrong.
Oke.
These high school kids these days are fucking nasty. But no, in my back in college, I hope my school doesn't sue me. I know one girl who was a TA for a class, and she would flirt with the professor. That one I knew. And then there was I heard like it was like campus gossip. Like apparently there was this one student who at that time I was a freshman, so this student was a third year, and he was sleeping with one of the professors.
Wow.
One of his professors, like in his like actively like that semester, like while she was still teaching him in class, and they were sleeping on the side. And I was like, oh. That is awkward.
Iya.
Your grades must be so good. Your grades must be so good. No, and then
Ya mungkin salah satu alasannya itu nggak sih?
apa?
Ya biar
Biar nilainya bagus.
Iya.
I feel like aku nggak tahu deh. I've heard stories of. Actually no. I feel like I've seen it in movies. The story of like, oh, I'm gonna sleep with my teacher so that I can get a good grade. But in real life, do you think anybody would actually do that? I'm seriously, for a fucking grade, for a fucking school grade, it's not gonna mean anything in 5 years.
Iya sih.
Like, do you think ada orang yang senekat itu?
Mungkin aja nggak sih ada. Di satu sisi dia juga mau, di satu sisi ada keuntungan yang gue ambil.
Yeah, true. It's like I get sex and I get good grades. Like I have a good GPA. Yeah, I guess maybe, but I'm like, bro, that's insane. No, and then in my university, this is public information actually. One of our, I think it was a master's student or like a PhD. Is it a PhD student? I can't remember. But basically, one of the students got married to one of the professors. And they got married on campus because our campus has a chapel. It's a Catholic school. Ada kayak gereja kayak gitu. They got married at the school chapel.
Oke. Wow.
I think
ada ya.
The qualm was I think this is how the story goes. Like it's been a while, but I think the story goes because the teacher and the student they met and they started going on dates while she was his teacher.
Oh.
Yeah, and then he graduated. Oh, he graduated last year. And then he proposed, and then they got married.
Udah nikah berarti ya?
Udah nikah, yeah. But it is kind of like, to be honest, the ethics of like
Tapi wow.
falling in love, like having a romantic sexual relationship with your, like,
teacher.
yeah, with your teacher. But some people make the argument you can't help who you fall in love with. Where do you stand on that?
Iya sih. Ya as long ya udahlah udah nikah anyway kan.
Well,
Good
tapi
for
kan,
them.
tapi kan pacarannya.
Iya sih. Tapi daripada pacaran doang,
Maksudnya?
daripada tidur doang,
Wait, maksudnya?
maksudnya tidur doang tapi nggak nyampe nikah.
Oh.
Mending lo pacaran ya ujungnya emang lo berarti beneran cinta.
Oh, kalau aku sih lebih like the way that I viewed it is the power imbalance. And also favoritism, right? Because as a teacher, you need to remain impartial to all your students. siapa tahu like
agak nggak lebih ke aneh aja sih ngeliat student yang pacaran sama teacher. Ya udah.
Yeah, it's a little.
Yeah. Walaupun kita nggak bisa milih siapa yang kita cinta. Tapi kalau Rani di sini, dia bukan karena mungkin ada scene di mana dia melihat Aris ini ya karena dia gurunya, dosennya, ya lebih pinter dong. Rani tuh mengagumi itu. Maksudnya kayak
she liked the fact that he was
smart,
nurturing.
Iya, jadi kayak ada scene di mana, aduh jadi agak spoiler ya. Pokoknya intinya Rani tuh ngerasa amazed sama Aris. Jadi kayak wow dia ini ya. Jadi emang awalnya tuh step by step Rani melihat Aris tuh protektif. Aris tuh pas di kampus gue ngeliat pas ngajar pinter banget. Soft banget, baik dan lain-lain, ngejaga Rani banget ya, padahal emang itu yang dilakukan ipar selayaknya sama ya adiknya pasangannya. Kita harus baik, kita harus ngejaga kakaknya jadi jaga, masa adiknya enggak, apalagi udah satu rumah. Tapi jadi mungkin itu ya perhatiannya juga jadi kebagi, nggak cuman ke Nisa Arisnya, jadinya ke Rani juga dijaga. Dan akhirnya mungkin ada kalau menurut aku ya, Aris tuh ngelihat ada something yang Rani punya tapi Nisa enggak. Nisa itu kan businesswoman, mungkin ya nggak selalu available dan lain-lain. Jadi kayak Aris jadi ada hal ke situnya. Ya intinya karena permasalahannya karena mereka serumah tinggal. Mungkin kalau enggak ya nggak bakal terjadi. Nggak bakal pulang pergi bareng.
See, that's interesting because people do say people who want to cheat, they will cheat no matter what, and they will cheat with the person. They will go after the person that they want to go after no matter what.
Yeah.
So you think kalau mereka nggak serumah, so the problem is that they live in proximity.
Karena sering ketemu tiap saat pagi berangkat bareng.
Was Ronnie not attracted to Aris before they lived together?
Kalau emang mau selingkuh ya dari dulu aja.
But Aris would have still been, even if they don't live together, Aris would have still been her professor though.
Iya, tapi ya ketemu di kampus aja, nggak nganterin pulang bareng. Dan Rani juga dari awal nggak yang langsung suka. Rani waktu Nisa ngomong, Rani kamu berangkat sama masmu, berangkat sama Aris aja. Rani nggak yang langsung, oke mbak. Enggak, Rani kayak, mbak nggak enak, aku masa berdua doang sama suamimu. Dan Nisa juga, udahlah nggak apa-apa, kan satu arah, kan satu kampus. Udah yang kayak, jadi kayak Rani di awal, aduh nggak enak. Tahu batasan lah.
Ya.
Tapi karena batasan itu selalu diterobos, kesabaran mungkin ada batasannya, bablas. Karena ada peluang yang selalu diterobos, nganggap itu normal, terjadilah.
There is this theory. I watched it on it's this like social. I watched it on social media. There was a psychologist talking about. There's this theory of how cheating can be a trauma response, and that's kind of what I want to talk about. Cause the character of Ronnie seems to me like, to be honest, she was kind of neglected.
Ya.
Kayak agak neglected, wasn't loved as much. Turbulent family relationship, doesn't get along with her mom and dad, yeah. And no, she doesn't have a father figure, so she doesn't. So yeah, I guess there's also that. And then she doesn't get along well with her mom. So do you think, like, what do you think is the psychology behind why Ronnie did what she did? Apalagi kan tadi you said awalnya dia nggak enak ya. Like she was thinking about like her boundaries for her sister's sake.
Yeah.
And then what happened?
Karena kalau yang aku pikir Rani itu pertama dia nggak punya sosok bapak dari kecil, dan Nisa pernah merasakan. Jadi bapaknya Rani dan Nisa meninggal saat Nisa umur berapa ya, 6 tahun, tapi ya at least Nisa pernah merasakan figur bapak. Dan bapaknya itu mirip sama Aris. Yang maksudnya kayak kan banyak tipikal suami yang nggak mau cuci piring. Iya kan, maunya gue kerja aja, lo yang cuci piring, lo kerjaan rumah lo. Tapi Aris tuh enggak. Aris juga nganterin Raya dan lain-lain, nyuci piring, nyapu, rapihin. Ya maksudnya kita sama aja. Dan itu yang dilakukan oleh bapaknya Rani. Jadi karena Nisa sering ceritain bapaknya, iya bapak tuh gini, kayak Mas Aris dan Rani haus akan kasih sayang dari laki-laki mungkin ya. Jadinya dia ngelihat sosok bapak, sosok laki-laki yang dia idamkan di suami kakaknya dan banyak peluang, banyak di mana mereka berdua di rumah berdua, berangkat berdua, itu berdua. Jadi lama-lama ya manusia mungkin apa ya, itulah karena batasan yang diterobos itu. Selalu menganggap adalah normal berangkat bareng, ini bareng, tinggal bareng. Jadinya Rani juga ngerasa ya udahlah. Dan Nisanya juga selalu kayak tuh masmu tuh, Rani tuh masih yang ngerti gak sih?
I don't know if this, mudah-mudahan ini gak spoiler ya.
Yeah.
But at what point did Rani stop caring and thinking about her sister? In what point? Because I think that's what's interesting. Because a lot of people when they
ini seru banget sih, apa ya, setelah Rani suka, Rani ngerasa nyaman, dan Rani merasakan ini yang gue butuhin. Kayak
her self-interest became greater than.
Karena ngerasa ini juga faktor Rani itu punya jealous yang besar ke Nisa. Dari awal, dari kecil dibanding-bandingkan sampai sekarang mungkin dia ngerasa ada kayak gue bisa dapetin pasangan kakak gue. Gue juga kayak Nisa kok. Gue juga bisa kayak Nisa, cowoknya aja juga bisa gue dapetin. Ada pemikiran seperti itu pada akhirnya ya, bukan di awal. Awalnya ngerasa nyaman, ngerasa gue nyaman nih, ini yang gue butuhin. Aris maksudnya. Dan dia ngerasa
saking nyamannya dia udah nggak peduli lagi ya.
Udah nggak peduli. Ini pokoknya ini gue udah dapetin ini nih. Ini yang gue suka gitu. Jadi kayak Rani udah mulai, ya Nisanya juga apa ya? Jadi gini, karena aku tinggal bareng. Kalau Nisa lagi kerja tuh kadang ada beberapa tugas ibu rumah tangga yang menggantikan Rani. Contohnya, Nisanya lagi keluar kota, yang siapin makan siapa? Rani dong. Yang melayani suaminya siapa, ngerti nggak?
That's so interesting.
Ya walaupun Nisanya cuman kayak, Rani, Mbak pulang agak maleman, tolong panasin rendang dong di kulkas misalnya gitu. Itu tugas sebenarnya tugas suami
panasin
istri.
rendangnya buat si suaminya.
Iya.
Padahal
Maksudnya
ya suruh suaminya panasin sendiri
sebenarnya.
sebenarnya.
Iya, mungkin kayak tanyain Aris dong mau apa? Karena mungkin dipikir Aris masih kuliah, Aris masih ngajar, aku udah di rumah. Udahlah tolong siapin dong Mbak, soalnya telat.
Gitu. No, but see, this is why personal boundaries and a healthy level of, what's the word I'm thinking of? Is it individualism? I think a healthy level of individualism, and what comes with that is personal boundaries. That's why it's needed, because sometimes when you take on roles that are not meant for you to take, it blurs the lines and things get foggy. You know what I mean? So it's like seharusnya, and I am very passionate about making more men do domestic work. Fix your own food. Seharusnya Nisa just told her husband, hey, I'm gonna be home, and also for the fucking record, I'm not your mama and I'm not your maid. Go fix your own fucking food. Right?
Iya.
There's a lot of things. Like if they just amended their behavior, I feel like a lot of things could have been avoided.
Iya, dan kayak ini juga ada anaknya loh kita. Satu rumah. Mereka punya anak.
I forgot about that.
Jadi banyak yang kayak,
don't tell me karena Nisa a working mother and she's really busy, and so because of that, like she also like bestowed it upon her sister to like take care of the baby.
Iya. Jadi ya
that's a recipe for disaster.
Kayak jaga Raya ya ini, dan Rani juga suka anak kecil, juga senang sama Raya ya dong, ponakan. Jadinya mungkin itu banyak tugas-tugasnya Nisa yang terkadang tuh Rani lakukan. Jadi tuh Rani juga nggak sadar lo tuh cuman ipar, lo bukan istrinya Haris. Dan Rani ngerasa lo memberikan tanggung jawab itu ke gue.
That's the thing. That's why separation of role and boundaries is so important.
Yes.
It's so important. And I don't know how often this happens. Like if we're talking about Indonesian society, I don't know how often this happens, but what I do see happen in real life is that biasanya what I see is that because everybody, there's no clear definition of like, this is my role, this is your role. Like there's no separation of like your role in the family. In Indonesian culture, it's almost the sense like we are a family, we do everything together, we do each other's like jobs, like we'll do whatever the person needs us to do. Kayak gitu, right? Even if it's not something like sebenarnya kita nggak obligasi ya, like we're not obligated to. So, and what I see in Indonesian society, like from a lot of my Indonesian friends that deal with this dynamic at home, is they end up becoming stretched very thin. Maksudnya kayak there is this sense of like apa ya, you start losing yourself in an attempt for you to be there for every single one of your family, you start losing yourself. Yeah. Like it's the whole like conversation of self-love, to be honest, like which I think is very interesting when put in an Indonesian context, because Indonesian culture is very collectivistic, and in Indonesian culture we are taught that everybody else comes first before you. But of course, what that ends up doing is a lot of people, they either become bitter and resentful, which I think is what happened to Rani, or what I see most often is just that I think people just get very burnt out even if they don't know that they are burnt out, and yeah, ujung-ujungnya they don't know who they are. You know what I mean? They don't know what they want, they don't know who they are, because everything from who they are to what they want has always been who their family wanted them to be, or like what their family needed. Kayak gitu. Boundaries. Oh my god.
Itu penting banget.
Nah, ini aku mau tanya tentang si Rani, your character.
Yes.
Between psychopathy, so psychopath, and narcissism, so narcissist, does Rani fall in either one of those two as a character, you think?
Kalau aku malah ngerasa Rani itu apa ya?
Does she exhibit signs of being either one of those two, perhaps? I'm going somewhere with this. I'm leading somewhere.
Ya. Aku mungkin lebih ke Rani tuh sebenarnya didasarin insecure dia melakukan semua ini. Ya karena jealous sama kakaknya itu.
Well, you'd be surprised, a lot of narcissistic people, it's
because
insecure.
Iya. Dia melihat, dia butuh validasi.
Yeah.
Gue bisa kok kayak Nisa. Bu lihat nih, gue bisa kok kayak Nisa. Jangan beda-bedain gue. Itu di pikiran Rani. Dasarnya. Yeah. Jadi dia melakukan apapun yang Mbak Nisa bisa lakukan. Itu dasarnya yang jadi dia mungkin karena egonya dia itu ya.
Yeah.
Dan Arisnya juga menerima dengan apa ya? Menerima dan melakukannya juga dengan tidak terpaksa. Jadi kita sama-sama mau dan ya udah berlanjut aja terus. Kayaknya kalau orang kayak gitu udah apa ya, penyakit ya. Udah aku juga pas baca tuh nggak kepikiran gitu.
Yeah. No, because I'll tell you this, and this is actual research data. Research shows how people that exhibit signs of psychopathy, narcissism, or Machiavellianism are more likely to engage in mate poaching. Mate poaching is the scientific term for home wrecking.
Oh.
So if there's not
a
a causation, it's not a causation, but it is a correlation, right?
Yeah.
And
makes sense juga.
And here's what interesting, and this is the point that I really want to emphasize in today's episode. When you do the research, so people that exhibit symptoms of those three triads, those personality triads, are more likely to cheat, right? Why do they do that? The study suggests that it's because it's part of, for some of them, it's part of a strategy to try and secure a high quality partner. Or the other reason is just because they can. It's because they like the cheap thrill of knowing, I can steal her man. I can steal his girl. And they just do it. Which one's
Rani?
Which one's Rani?
Yeah.
Yang mana?
Rani tuh kayak
cheap thrills because she can, or is it does she genuinely want Aris as like, she sees Aris as like a high quality partner that she wants?
Both, jadinya aku ngelihatnya.
So, okay, I want to ask you this. Did Rani, when obviously she's having an affair, she knows what she's doing with Aris. Yeah. She's not stupid. She's not that stupid, right? What's her end goal? Does she want to get married with Aris? I'm leading somewhere with this.
Kita ngomongin di film ini ya?
Yeah.
Di film ini itu dia
mau apa?
ingin mengambil.
So she wants to
Iya,
marry.
Iya.
So she wants to marry.
Kayak yang di realnya.
Okay, because when you do, I did further research on this. The data shows how, regardless of ini, kita nggak usah ngomongin whether or not the partner is actually of high quality ya, because sebenarnya, to be honest, in my opinion, Aris, even though he has like good traits, I don't think he's a high quality partner. If he's a partner that is easily stealable.
Iya.
It's a partner that I can steal. You know what I mean? That doesn't really signal high quality. If you're something that I can easily steal.
It's stealable.
But the study shows that regardless of whether or not the partner is high quality, there is data to support how 90% of the cheating spouses, they don't end up marrying or getting together permanently or like for the long term with the person that they were having an affair with. They go back to their spouse and they go to marriage counseling or therapy or whatever, and they try to reconcile with the cheating. So only, what is it? Hold on, what did I write here? So only 10% of the time when you home wreck a marriage, that the person that you are having an affair with ends up leaving the person that they were once married to for you. Only 10%.
Kalau di real life ya mungkin. Kalau di film aku mungkin belum bisa jelasin ya.
That's
mereka ujungnya gimana?
That's fine, I'll find out
apakah
soon.
bareng apa enggak? Tapi kalau di real life, Rani itu masih ngejar Aris untuk nikahin dia. Rani asli.
Yeah.
Dan Rani itu yang ibunya meninggal, ibunya sampai meninggal di kehidupan asli. Itu
as in like the real
the true story,
real story. Oh,
real
not
Rani
in the
ini.
movie.
Iya.
Got it.
Itu ibunya sampai meninggal, Nisa baca doa Yasin lagi ngajiin.
Yeah.
Rani ada di kamarnya Aris, keluar pakai baju dinas dan lain-lain.
Ini cerita aslinya?
Iya, aslinya. Dan emang Rani itu sama Nisa udah jadi nggak kayak adik kakak, bener-bener yang kayak mana mau balikan lagi ya? Kok ketemu mulu sama Aris?
Udah kayak gitu.
Wah, Rani udah
putus hubungan.
Udah nggak ada akal sehat mungkin ya. Udah nggak ada kakak, udah nggak ada boundaries sama. Udah bukan ada boundaries. Udah nggak ada menghargai satu sama lain. Kan kita kakak adik masih ada dibanding ke temen ya. Kita masih ada lebih sayang lah sama kakak adik. Tapi ini udah mikirnya rival. Kayak lo ngapain padahal lagi itu lo ngapain masih ketemu Aris, katanya mau cerai.
So in real life, the original story that this movie was based on, in real life, Ronnie is still pursuing Aris. Tapi Aris balik sama itunya kan? Nggak balik. They divorce? They divorce.
Dan Nisa nggak mau.
Nisa nggak mau. But Ronnie is still chasing.
Iya.
Arisnya gimana in real life?
Arisnya in real life udah nggak bisa ya, karena dia cuma didasari nafsu. Kalau Aris, kalau Rani pakai hati. Emang lo yang gue cinta gitu.
Right.
Jadi Arisnya kan iya laki-laki udah punya istri, kalau selingkuh apalagi kalau bukan karena nafsu, iya dong.
Right.
Dan Arisnya enggak, jadinya kalau sekarang Arisnya katanya itu udah tobat lah, udah ngikutin kayak ya intinya udah jadi remaja masjid dan lain-lain, udah jadi hijrah lah, maksudnya udah tobat intinya.
Iya.
Tapi Raninya ya
no, not there yet. What is the original story that this movie is inspired by? Is it like a famous case?
Kita tuh ada creator namanya Eliza Siva. Dia itu kayak di TikTok dia suka bikin drama-drama tapi satu orang. Kayak dia jadi Rani, jadi Aris, jadi Nisa.
Yeah.
Nah, followersnya ceritain ke dia. Jadi ini cerita dari followersnya kayak Eliza Siva ini.
I see.
Jadi based on true story.
Okay.
Gitu.
Based on the true story of her followers, like this actually happened, but then the medium is through Eliza Siva TikTok.
Yes.
I see. No, because I'm just I was just curious because if based on the data, 90% of cheating spouses don't even end up marrying their affair partners, which is true.
Yeah, which is true.
I don't know if this accounts for divorce because in real life what happened is Aris and Nisa divorced, but I mean it's still true. They don't end up with the person that they were cheating. And see that's the thing. I made a TikTok video talking about this. This is the thing, right? When we talk about people that have it in them to home wreck, that want to home wreck, yeah, Nggak tahu berapa banyak orang yang lagi nonton video ini, mungkin kalian lagi, mudah-mudahan nggak ya, tapi
Iya,
I mean no, but it happens, right? It
Banyak, ya.
happens. And to be honest, like if it happens, I mean fuck you, like rightfully, yeah, fuck you, but like you're horrible. But at the same time, it's not too late to stop what you are doing. And I implore people to think of it this way. Fair enough if you don't care about the morals and ethics behind committing, like behind home wrecking, and you know, like committing infidelity, because morals and ethics itu kan yang pertama subjektif ya, dan sebenarnya juga ada banyak orang di luar sana mereka nggak peduli tentang morals and ethics. I'll just be honest, there are people that just don't care.
Ya kayak Rani in real life.
Definitely Rani in real life. So fair enough if you don't care about the morals and ethics of it, but I implore people to think of it from a cost and benefit analysis. Because here's the thing, right? According to the data, it's only 10% of the time, like 10% of cases, at least like from this study, that he will or she will actually leave their partner for you. Only 10%.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, you are risking everything.
Yes.
You are risking. Apalagi di Indonesia, penting harus diingat, kita di sini ada undang-undang di mana legally there is grounds to sue if you are an affected party, like within the confines of marriage. If you are one of the affected parties, like if you're the spouse that got cheated on, or like the child, or like the parent of the child, kayak gitu, there's grounds to sue you for committing adultery, right? So number one, you're not just risking legal trouble, like in the case of adultery, but even outside of legality, like you are risking your reputation. You're risking ostracization, yang dalam artinya apa? You're risking di reject sama community kan, because obviously these days
your future.
You're risking everything only for a 10% chance.
Yes.
Makanya itu yang aku ngomong di TikToknya aku, like if you don't care about the morals and ethics, you don't care what you're doing to the poor spouse waiting at home, or you know what you're doing to their children, fine, but think of it for yourself then. You only have 10%. Are you willing? How much are you willing to give up? How much are you willing to bet that you're gonna end up in that winning 10%? The chances are slim.
Iya.
Gitu. Makanya.
Ya kan orang kadang-kadang kayak gitu udah nggak mikirin ke depan. Apa yang dia nikmatin sekarang, ya gue pikir ya gue lanjutin aja lah.
Do you think Ronnie as a character, she has impulse control?
Yeah. Pasti.
I see that a lot with. I noticed that with people that have opened up about committing infidelity, dan juga karena sebenarnya aku nggak tahu kalau kamu dalam kehidupan pribadi, do you know people that have cheated? Pastilah ya.
Of course.
Yeah. Do you notice like a character trait that they all have, which is like by and large it's usually impulse control?
Iya. Dia kebanyakan orang yang cheating kan?
Yeah, cheating.
Iya, dia punya
cheating atau juga sebenarnya home wrecking.
Iya.
Pelaku
yang diselingkuhi itu kan?
Iya.
Iya, kebanyakan mungkin ya kayak Rani juga kali ya, haus validasi. Dia juga
insecure ya.
Dan ya aku juga nggak paham ya orang-orang yang kayak gitu, maksudnya butuh apa ya? Haus kasih sayang, perhatian, ngerasa oh gue bisa ngambil pasangannya dia. Itu kali ya yang di otak dia. Aduh.
Have you ever been cheated on?
Yeah.
Have you ever cheated?
I don't know is that cheating or not, tapi ini aku jujur ya, aku pernah cheating. Walaupun ya chattingan doang sih, ya nggak boleh bilang doang sih, itu tetap cheating. Tapi karena pasangan aku cheating dan aku nggak mau apa-apa, dan itu aku ngerasa kayak itu gue masih immature banget.
Yeah.
Jadi kayak pernah dimana aku diselingkuhin dan aku find out sendiri, terus kayak oh shit, dan ini nggak yang pertama. Jadi ya walaupun aku ngeliatnya di bukti chat sih, kayak aku megang dan lain-lain, terus oke. Nextnya kayak oh yaudah, I'm gonna treat you like how you treat me, gitu. Jadi
revenge.
Iya walaupun ya itu nggak boleh dicontoh ya, sebenarnya nggak baik juga, karena kita jadi sama aja kayak dia. Tapi nggak tahu itu karena mungkin aku udah capek, jadi kayak oh ya udahlah kalau lo maunya gitu, aku jadi membalas chat orang gitu ya. Jadi aku ngerasa, terus dia find out, dan aku juga berharap dia find out. Itu tujuan aku. Tujuan aku bukan gue pengen sama cowok yang gue chattingin, walaupun chattingannya cuman apa kabar, lagi syuting apa, biasa banget sebenarnya kayak temen, tapi still itu orang yang mungkin dia curigain, mungkin ya pasangan aku curigain. Jadi jatuhnya aku sharing juga, dan dia find out, dia kayak oke, good luck sama si A gitu misalnya, si X ini misalnya. Terus aku balas juga, oke, good luck juga sama ex ini sama which is orang yang dia selingkuhin at first gitu.
Right.
Jadi kayak itu sih aku ngerasa itu immature. Jadi ya aku pernah cheating gitu. Tapi di satu sisi kayak itu bukan karena aku butuh validasi, butuh kaos perhatian, lebih ke kayak
Cause you were vengeful.
iya.
Yeah.
Karena aku kayak gitu. Once aku tuh setia banget di awal. Tapi once lo main, gue jadi susah percaya dan jadi kayak oh ya udahlah.
Ya,
Gitu.
ada sayangnya kan, if you wanna play fire with fire, I'll pour the gasoline. Baratnya kayak gitu. It begs the question in instances like this because I know other people that have done the same thing. And it's like, you cheat on me, I'll cheat on you back.
Yeah.
I think it's a very interesting moral question of like, does that then cancel it out? As in to say like, is it fair for me to cheat on you if you cheat on me first?
Ya lagi-lagi aku bilang itu enggak.
In your opinion?
Itu aku sih nggak nganggap itu hal yang benar ya. It's not a good point lo ngelakuin kayak gitu. Tapi ya karena gue pernah ngelakuin itu, jadi gue paham. Dan ya as long ya udah lo udah dapetin apa yang lo mau, cuma revenge aja biar lo ngerasain apa yang gue rasain.
Right.
Ya jatuhnya lebih ke gue pengen ngasih lo pelajaran, biar rasa sakitnya tuh biar lo rasain juga gitu. Dan benar ujung-ujungnya kita nggak ended up with the people yang kita selingkuh gitu loh, ngerti nggak sih? Tetap balik lagi dan akhirnya kita pada saat itu maksudnya kita ngulang lagi hubungan dari awal.
Right. I feel like in instances like what you described, it's not justified. Karena I'm not I wouldn't, I think in any context justify cheating. But you understand why they did what they did. That's how I would word it. And I feel like it's important because sometimes like everything, this is what I talk very passionately about on the internet. Everything requires context. Everything, right? And so, because I started thinking about, there's the saying, what's a cheater, always a cheater. What do you think of that?
Aku setuju sih.
Setuju ya?
Setuju.
Tapi kan in your context, your cheating wasn't, gimana ya?
Aku setuju hal itu, tapi makanya aku ngerasa pada saat itu aku immature. Aku sepantasnya nggak kayak gitu, dan itu pertama dan terakhir aku kayak gitu. Dan aku jadi ngerasa nyesel juga ngelakuin itu. Kayak untuk apa gue revenge?
Well, because that's to say that just because your I hope I don't get in trouble for saying this. Your reason for cheating, you did cheat, but your reason for doing it, I don't think somebody like in your position then would fall within the saying of once a cheater is always a cheater, because that saying is mostly for the people that like have it like yang ngelakuin duluan.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Aku percaya sih kayak gitu.
And that's why I'm thinking about how like that's why the context of like when we're talking about cheating, the context of how it occurred and where it took place matters, because people like to be very black and white when it comes to cheating.
Yeah.
And it's not helpful to do that. Have you ever had temen pelakor?
Oh enggak lagi. No and never, jangan sampai ya.
I had.
Your experience?
Yep.
Really?
I've been waiting for so long to tell this story. Okay, this is my time to shine. So, I'm gonna give her nama samaran.
Yeah.
Let's just call her Alexa.
Okay, Alexa.
All right. So, basically, Alexa tried to steal my then boyfriend.
Okay. Which is your ex?
My ex, my now ex.
Okay.
For context, oh my gosh, I had to wait years to get over this until like I could finally talk about it like on camera. For context, Alexa was my best friend. Like I'm talking my ride or die. Like she was the first friend I made when I first moved to the United States. We had Thanksgiving with her entire family. I've met her entire family. Like we nearly became roommates. We did everything together. Like I'm telling you, like she my day one, she my ride or die. And then like for the first 3 years, kind of college is 4 years.
Yeah.
So like for the first 3 years, the final year of college, I got a boyfriend. It's like my last ex-boyfriend is like this Indian international student from.
Jadi Alexa nggak punya boyfriend.
Alasannya
Alexa nggak punya boyfriend.
Ooh, messy. She cheated on her boyfriend.
Okay.
Her boyfriend was also my friend,
Oh,
and I couldn't say anything. Oh my gosh. Have you ever been in that predicament? Have you ever knew that two of your friends, like if they're dating, and you know both of them, one of them's cheating,
Yeah,
but you
yeah.
can't tell?
Iya.
Have you ever been in that?
Pernah
No,
lah.
because to be honest, like, not only was that something that ate me up inside for so long, because like her ex-boyfriend that she cheated on, I knew him and he's a great guy, you know, and like I consider him a friend, and it made me feel really bad that I couldn't tell him, because I think, to be honest, it was like a
'Cause you're-
selfish,
yeah,
it's a
yeah,
selfish
yeah.
interest, right? Because I don't want to ruin my friendship
Yeah,
with,
yeah,
with
yeah.
Alexa, but also
Because Alexa is your best friend, right?
yeah, exactly. Like Alexa, and then there's her
Yeah,
boyfriend.
yeah,
you know what
yeah.
I mean? And then I found out Alexa's cheating on her boyfriend, and I can tell.
Yeah.
No, and then but also because then what happened between me and Alexa with her trying to steal my boyfriend happened, and now I'm just kind of like, fuck, seharusnya gue ngomong
Ngasih
aja,
tahu aja.
ngasih tahu aja anjing,
Iya,
right?
iya, iya,
But
iya.
oh my god, that made me so pissed. No, but anyways, like
Tapi jadi sakitnya nggak cuma sama boyfriend, bukan karena diselingkuhin aja, tapi karena Alexa itu kan sahabat,
Right.
jadi double gitu nggak sih sakitnya?
And see, here's the thing. When I reflect back on that incident, if this is a girl that's willing to cheat on her man, and for context, Alexa and her boyfriend, the one that she cheated on, they've been together, I think at that time for like 3 years.
Wow.
Like, I swear, I thought they were gonna get married. I swear, I was like, y'all are gonna get married like right before we graduate, and I'm gonna be your bridesmaid. I thought that. And then like 3 tahun, and then like, you know, for whatever reason, she had, like ended up cheating on her boyfriend. And so
With your boyfriend?
with her, she cheated on her boyfriend, not with my boyfriend, but with someone else. I have no idea who it was. I can't remember. But then basically after she broke up with her boyfriend, of course she was single. Of course she was like, you know, like
I see. Okay,
like
okay.
sleeping around and like, you know, meeting other guys like from like in between. Like she wasn't in a committed relationship. But I just keep thinking about how if this is a girl that's willing to throw away 3 years of her relationship with a man who honestly treated her very well, right? If this is a woman who's willing to do that, why was I then so surprised when she ended up basically backstabbing me and she tried to steal my man, right? Because like I feel like there's a bit of like, gimana ya? What I'm trying to say is that there are certain red flags about certain people's characters. I feel like people should be attuned to and like beware of. Ya nggak sih?
Iya.
Karena sebenarnya kalau dipikir-pikir,
Aku juga di sini jadi kayak, oke, gue harus makin aware sih
Ya kan?
sama sahabat-sahabat gue juga.
right? No, and I'll tell you something about Alexa. When I read Ronnie's character and you were explaining Ronnie's character, very reminiscent of Alexa. In many ways, not in every way, but in many ways.
Oh, wow.
Especially the part where she is. I knew this about her even when we were friends. It's just, you know, sometimes like when you're friends with somebody, like you kind of want to not look at their red flags because
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah. That's a girl thing.
Tapi in hindsight dari awalnya I already knew that she is very thirsty for male validation.
Oh shit, that's
Ronnie.
Yeah.
And that's also Ronnie. It's like thirsty for male validation. And to be honest, she's also kind of like two-faced. And I knew that about her from the very beginning. She was very two-faced. Like she was one of those girls. Kalau di depan cowok, tiba-tiba berubah.
Oh my god.
She was one of those. And I knew that from the very beginning. I noticed it. But then because she was my best friend, I just tutup mata kan.
Terlalu baik.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, aku paling gak bisa lagi kayak kalau aku jadi kamu kayak shot.
Yeah.
Kalau aku tipe yang kayak lo ngapain anjir?
No, but to be honest, see, that's the thing. Like, I'm a very direct personality, and like, I'm a very aggressive personality. But like, so I would have thought that I would be that type of character that you describe of like, bitch, like, what the fuck, you know, and like, see the red flag for what it is. But when it's somebody that you love, I'm not talking about sexual romantic love. I'm talking about like
best friend.
Like, she's the
that's the thing.
like my best friend that I loved.
Nggak mungkin, intinya.
Right? It fogs your. It fogs your perception of things.
Iya.
Or like you just become kayak, sebenarnya sih kalau buat aku denial.
Iya, denial jadinya.
Kalau buat aku sih denial ya. Yeah, but then basically with Alexa, oh my goodness, this girl, she threw away like 3 years of friendship just because ujung-ujungnya she liked the fact that my ex-boyfriend like lumayan gitu.
Okay, I see.
You know, and so she would always I remember the first time that they met, And don't you find it weird when someone makes a joke like kayak apa sih? I forgot exactly what she said. Tapi ujung-ujungnya she was basically hinting of like
ngejelekin kamu.
Bukan. She was kayak oh yeah, like your man is treating me to things kayak gitu, kayak she liked the idea of my man materialistically providing for her, beliin dia makanan, traktirin dia makan terus kayak gitu, because my boyfriend was that type. Gitu. So that was one. And then tahu nggak? Oh my gosh, if you want the entire story, can I tell the story?
Yeah.
Can I? Okay. The first time that they met, they were part of I'm not gonna say the organization. They were part of an organization together. It's a student debate organization. I feel like if I say that, you'll know what I mean. They were part of the same organization. They had a competition me and my boyfriend and Alexa. We were based in Los Angeles. They had a competition in Santa Barbara. So they went out of town. Kayak ibaratnya Jakarta ke Bandung kayak gitu lah, right? So they went out of town and they had a competition. I knew that was the first night that they were gonna meet. I'm the type of friend, if you are my lover, I'm like that Spice Girls song. If you want to be my lover, you gotta get with my friends.
Yeah,
right?
Same.
Right? Exactly. So I was like, okay, this is gonna be the first time y'all met, and she's my best friend, and so I was telling my boyfriend, you know, make sure you treat her well. Maksudnya ya, you know, like be kind to her,
like,
kayak gitu, take care
dia
of
sahabat
her.
gue.
Yeah, this is my girl. You know what I mean? She came first before you.
Yeah.
So make sure you make sure she has a good time. You take care of her. Apa kayak gitu. That first night, they did the competition thing, and then they had a party. Ini Alexa, dia mabok terus tidur in my boyfriend's hotel room. Like she passed out in his hotel room. And me at that time, no, you would have hated me. You would have hated me at that time, because me at that time, I was balls deep in denial, bitch. I was so in denial because I was
that's
like,
okay.
No, that's okay. You know, she was just tired, and she was drunk. You know what I mean? She went back to his room because they wanted to watch Bollywood movies together. And then she got so drunk and then she fell asleep in his room. And then the next morning, you know what happened? She left her fucking, she left a note saying something like, apa kayak tulisan tangan kayak thank you for taking care of me last night, apa kayak gitu. She left it on his bed, but she forgot her wallet. Now in hindsight, I'm like, I feel like this bitch literally did that so that she had an excuse to go see him again. But at that time I was like, oh, that's no biggie. The note is because she's just grateful, and it's okay, she passed out at night, you know, she was just tired. Oh, it's okay, yeah, no, go give her back her wallet. And then they ended up having lunch together. And then after their first lunch together, nah ini yang aneh, she would always ask my boyfriend out to go eat lunch or dinner without me. Sebenarnya gini ya, I don't mind my man going out with his girlfriends, having girlfriends. I don't mind. I'm that type. I don't mind.
Wow.
You could never. No, but I'm that type. No, I'm fine. And I would have been okay if my boyfriend wanted to hang out with Alexa because they have a lot of things in common kayak gitu. It's fine for my boyfriend to be friends with my friends.
Okay.
But don't you find it weird? She never invited me. Like gak kepikir kayak sekalian yuk kita lunch bareng sama si Indah. Gak pernah loh. And this went on for months.
Damn.
And
Tapi your boyfriend cerita terus dong update.
Oh yeah. 100%. She knew that of course she's my best friend. She knew that I was dating this guy.
Iya, maksudnya your boyfriend cerita, maksudnya iya Indah si Alexa ini aku mau lunch sama dia, aku mau ini, dia ngajak aku. Your boyfriend selalu ngomong itu.
Yeah, this is the thing, like my ex-boyfriend, thankfully he's a good man and he told me everything, right? He would always say, oh, I'm going out to lunch with cut that. Okay. Cut that. I'm so glad this is not live. That's her real name.
Okay, kan kita nggak kenal anyway kan?
Yeah, nggak kenal
anyway.
No, she's Vietnamese. There's no way any of you know her. Okay. It's fine. So no, my boyfriend, the one thing that I really appreciated, he was always very honest with me. So he would always tell me, hey, Alexa hit me up and she wants to go grab lunch. Do you want to come with me? Mala, my boyfriend was the one who would always have to ask me like if I wanted to come along to her invitation. And of course, at that time, I don't know why, I felt like, well, she didn't ask
me.
Oh my God, I'm gonna sound like a fucking idiot here. That I don't know why at that time my thought process and the way that I felt was, well, if Alexa wanted me there, she would have asked me, and if she didn't, that means she doesn't want me there. So it's okay. You can just go on and have lunch with her. Gitu. And it made me feel really sad. Awal-awalnya, the thing that bothered me about that was because it felt like Alexa wanted like my boyfriend more as a friend than she liked me. And that was what made me really sad. I didn't even think sampai like, oh, Alexa's trying to sleep with my man. Ternyata kan iya, but at that time I didn't even think about that. I was thinking
Even
about
mereka udah dinner berdua nggak ada kepikiran.
no, I thought maybe is he a better friend to her than me? That's what I thought in the very beginning, and I would like, you know,
Ya wajar
get
karena
sad.
kita mikirnya sahabat nggak mungkin.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
That's why, to be honest, I sympathize with the mother here. I
Yeah,
sympathize
yeah,
with
yeah.
Ronnie's mother because no, the denial when it's someone you love, you want to hope the best.
Iya
Of them.
Wants protect dan
Iya.
lain-lain, tapi
Iya kayak gitu. Tapi oh my goodness, I was balls deep in denial.
Mm-hmm.
Terus, and it's like it went on for months. Whenever they would go out, eat lunch and dinner together, she would always ask him. She would never ask me. My boyfriend would be the one like, my boyfriend would reassure me like, are you sure this is okay? Are you sure this is okay? I tell him, it's fine.
okay,
Go
oh.
ahead. To be honest, I kind of lied about that. I kind of wasn't okay, but like not for the reasons that I think like, not because I was like jealous or possessive of him. I think it was just I felt like my friendship with Alexa was like dwindling.
Yeah,
I guess like that's why. And then what's even weirder is that while she would be like asking him out to go grab lunch or dinner, she would still be asking me, "Hey, do you want to go grab lunch or dinner?" But when I meet up with her, she wouldn't mention, oh yeah, so I went and grabbed lunch with your boyfriend kayak gitu. And pikir kayak gini deh, aneh gak sih? Like if you're right? Like if I, for example, if you had a boyfriend and like we're best friends kayak gitu, and it's like I went to go grab lunch with your boyfriend, which if assuming that you're okay with that. If there's nothing going on, like of course I'd be like, oh yeah, no, I wanna go grab lunch with your boyfriend and we were talking about this, like nothing, like. You know what I mean?
At first place aja udah salah. My
You
best
think
friend,
so?
masa lunch
Yeah.
berdua doang ya,
Yeah.
out of nowhere yang nggak
Why
ada
are you-
tujuan itu aku udah nggak bisa sih.
Okay, but this is interesting. Why are you not okay with that? If your boyfriend wanted to go out and have lunch,
Untuk apa? First of all, buat apa?
His friend? It's just his friend.
Mau ajak gue dong.
Why?
Ya karena lo sahabat gue, lo ngapain sama cowok gue berdua
Yeah.
doang? Tujuan lo apa? Lo mau jadi teman curhat? Gue aja.
What if this is his girl best friend before you even started dating?
Oh ya, kalau itu aku juga jujur tipikal yang nggak bisa juga.
Okay.
My boyfriend punya sahabat cewek. At first aku nggak apa-apa banget, tapi setelah aku merasakan masa berexperience yang nggak baik tentang hal tersebut, jadi kayak nggak bisa. Dan
I see.
aku selalu bilang dari awal sama siapapun yang jadi
Right.
pasangan aku,
Right.
gue nggak bisa nih kalau punya
Kalau kamu temenan
pasangan
sama
yang
cewek.
iya yang over ya, maksudnya yang kayak suka pergi bareng, antar pulang pergi bareng. Maksud aku kalau lu butuh sahabat cewek untuk apa? Kalau untuk jadi teman curhat, terus gunanya gue apa?
You take issue with if he drops her home?
Iya, even kayak maksudnya biasanya kalau pergi bareng yang anterin pulang ya cowok aku dong.
Ah, maksudnya?
Jadi misalnya aku punya cowok, terus dia
Yeah.
punya sahabat si Alexa misalnya.
Iya, iya.
Dia lunch bareng, pulangnya biasanya selalu seringnya bareng. Kayak ya cowok aku nganterin Alexa sampai rumahnya. Jadi jatuhnya kayak ngedate. Terus apa bedanya sama gue? Lebih ke gitu sih aku mikirnya.
Interesting, because I disagree. Oh, that's interesting. I disagree
Iya,
with
kita
that.
kayak beda banget, kamu ya kayak
Iya.
that's okay. Kalau aku nggak bisa.
Karena aku liatnya kan konteks. Like as in to say like I think it's fine if my boyfriend has, number one, I'm okay with my man having a life outside of his life with me.
Ya,
Kayak
oke.
gitu. He has his group of friends. Whatever gender they come in, that's not. I don't have.
yeah,
I don't
yeah.
have a right. I don't
doesn't
have
matter
authority
ya,
over that.
gendernya apapun.
You know what I mean? And no. And here's the thing. Actually, I would want my man to drop my female friends home.
Berdua?
Why? Yeah, I would want him. I would ask him, can you drop her home?
Oke.
Why? Because it's really dangerous for women out there to be alone late at night, and I don't want anything happening to these women.
Oke, paham. Aku
Yeah.
bukan berarti aku tega ya ngelihat
iya, no,
sahabat cewek,
no.
tapi lebih ke ya udah gue ikut. Ada aku. Nggak masa aku sama sahabat aku, contohnya kayak Liodra atau siapapun.
Yeah.
Aku kenalin banget lah ke cowok aku. Iya dong, pasti ya. Lo harus akrab sama sahabat gue. Even aku juga termasuk yang lo nggak suka sama sahabat gue yang ngomelin lo kenapa gini-gini. Iya
Absolutely,
kan?
yeah, girls
Tapi
girl. Yeah.
aku nggak bisa biarin mereka berdua tanpa adanya aku. Lo mau pergi, mau ngajak gue, ayo kita misal liburan kemana?
Right.
Ya ajak sahabat gue.
Right. And to be honest, no, like relating to one thing about this movie kan, it's like don't trust anybody too much.
Yes.
You know, it's true.
Aku punya cerita. Tadi kan ditanya,
Yeah.
aku pernah nggak jatuhnya diselingkuhin sama teman gitu ya?
Yeah.
Dan tadi aku beringat aku punya, pernah merasakan itu dan itu, aduh ini spill tapi seru banget. Aku nggak pernah cerita di mana-mana. Jadi,
Go for it.
Dan ini entertain. That's why itu adalah my first and last. Aku mau sama entertain. Iya, jadi pada saat itu aku pernah ya dia pacar aku lah di entertain gitu, dan emang image-nya baik, bla 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 bla. Jadi aku pikir kayak kayak nggak mungkin lah selingkuh, karena aku emang nggak tahu, aku tuh punya trust issue yang tinggi tentang perselingkuhan gitu, dan aku paling nggak bisa diselingkuhin gitu loh.
Right, yeah.
Itu kayak biggest fear aku aja. Jadi makanya aku kayak ngejaga sampai nggak boleh sama temen cewek berdua, karena aku nggak suka. Maksudnya kalau lo nggak nyaman, nggak usah sama gue gitu.
You know what's interesting? I've met a lot of women that they think the same way as you. They have the certain requirements as you of like you can't be alone with just another woman.
Yeah.
And you know what? What I find in, the common denominator is that you guys are women that have a history of being cheated on.
Iya.
So it's like it's a trauma response. Because I've never been cheated on.
Oh, that's
No.
good.
Yeah, 'cause I've never been cheated on.
Tapi jarang loh orang nggak pernah ngalamin selingkuh.
Emang iya?
Iya, biasanya semua orang pernah ngalamin selingkuh nggak sih?
Have you? Gak semua orang juga.
Kok gue tiap kayak ketemu
Have
temen
you
gue
gitu?
Single.
tapi pernah diselingkuhin nggak?
Still single.
Oh, you've never
Selingkuh
had a
juga
girl-
nggak pernah? Oke,
Jadi
iya udah.
single susah. Sorry.
Oke, keren
Pernah.
keren.
Jadi selingkuhan.
Dan dia bangga.
Oh my God, jadi selingkuhan.
Oke, chill.
Oke. Oke, mama. Oke. Damn.
Iya, jadi aku waktu itu pernah intinya diselingkuhin di satu project. Jadi anggaplah gini deh.
Yeah.
Kak Michelle Zio kan memerankan Nisa, Deva Mahendra sebagai Aris, aku Devina sebagai Rani. Anggaplah kalau in real life aku pacarnya Kak Deva, enggak. Kak Michelle pacarnya Aris, pacarnya Kak Deva in real life. Terus ternyata si Deva ini aslinya selingkuh sama aku, tapi in real life ya. Jadi aku posisinya di mana aku, enggak gitu sih, gimana ya? Intinya aku punya pasangan, dia itu main lead dari project ini.
Yeah.
Sedangkan aku supporting karakternya.
Yeah.
Terus si cewek A ini dia adalah main karakternya, which is di cerita itu dia jadi pasangannya cowok aku, dan aku jadi sahabat cewek ini yang mendukung mereka pacaran. Padahal in real life aku pacaran tuh cowok. Ya udah, aku nggak masalah banget. Karena ya udahlah,
Kan
ini
it's
cuma
your- it's
kerjaan,
work, yeah, it's
iya.
work.
Dan nih cewek juga tahu lah kita pacaran.
Yeah.
Tiap break ya kita makan bareng, kita
Yeah.
apa. Dia udah yang tiap lokasi cie berdua, si A ini, si cewek ini. Tapi kan aku supporting pada saat itu. Aku callingan sore dong.
Yeah.
Callingan nggak lebih pagi seperti yang peran utama itu.
Yeah.
2 menit itu. Aku pernah datang ke lokasi, find out kalau mereka tuh lagi berdua lah pokoknya di satu ruangan itu, which is di tempatnya si A. Kok kayak, loh ini kan break maghrib, ini kan lagi nggak ada take, ngapain? Dan aku tahu dari asistennya. Di situ aku udah mulai ngerasa, lo juga nggak ngabarin gue di chat, at least kayak, aku main ke tempatnya si A ya,
Ya.
gitu. Nggak apa-apa, aku dari awal itu dulu tuh aku sesantai itu, kayak
Ya.
kamu.
Yeah.
Saya udahlah project doang, dan kita syuting bareng, nggak mungkin lah lo selingkuhin gue di project bareng itu, iya dong.
Yeah.
Tapi tiba-tiba aku find out dari asistennya cowok aku, mantan aku itu.
Yeah.
Itu lagi berdua tuh, loh ngapain? Nggak tahu, dari tadi sih udah selesai syutingnya cuma berdua. Oke. Oke. Dan aku bukan tipe kalian kayak, lo ngapain ini? Aku bukan gitu.
Yeah.
Kalau lo mau silakan, tapi gue
Right.
yang cabut.
Right.
Nggak lama aku udahin ngomong ke cowok kayak, cowoknya anggaplah B ya.
Yeah.
A ini cewek, B ini mantan aku.
Yeah.
B, kita kayaknya udah nggak bisa bla 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 bla. Aku ngerasa kamu nggak bisa ngasih batasan dan lain-lain. Tapi aku nggak sebutin kalau dia ada di tempat tuh cewek lah gitu
Yeah.
kan. Terus dia kayak yang oke, karena mungkin aku nggak ngasih tahu kesalahannya dia.
Yeah.
Dia nggak ngerasa salah karena dia pikir aku nggak tahu. Kayak ya gini, terus nggak lama dia mulai deket-deketin aku lagi, terus kita sempat deket pun juga, aku pun juga yang kayak duh apa sih lah, tapi yang ya udahlah, kita masih satu project, kita masih harus berchemistry di frame, jadi mau nggak mau aku sama A dan B tuh akrab. Terus ada momen dimana si B-nya ini masih mau balikan lagi dan lain-lain, dan sempat baikan sama aku karena aku ngerasa kayaknya gue nggak harus sepatutnya langsung mutusin cuma karena dia berdua tanpa izin gue, ngerti gak sih?
Yeah.
Cuma karena dia lagi ada di ruangan itu cewek, gue masa langsung putusin, gue mikir gimana, tapi pada saat itu aku kayak, kok lo nggak bilang sama gue sih? Gitu. Masa berdua doang gitu. Gue kayak
like it's even more like it's fine for my boyfriend to be alone with another woman, just the two of them. But tell me.
Iya, itu loh.
Yeah,
Makanya aku
yeah.
tanya tadi, your boyfriend ngabarin nggak? Aku
Yeah.
nanya gitu kan.
Ngabarin sih ngabarin, cuma herannya my best friend yang nggak ngabarin.
Itu.
Right?
Tapi aku sama cewek ini baru ketemu di project itu. Jadi aku masih ngerasa agak ragu lah gitu kan. Karena
Right.
bukan sahabat aku.
Yeah.
Terus akhirnya dia mulai ngejar lagi, terus nih cowok tuh udah mulai ngebaik-baikin aku lagi lah, nggak tau loh, kayak ngerasa bersalah dan lain-lain. Aku sempat ngasih angin, oh iya ya nggak apa-apa, bla bla bla. Tiba-tiba aku ngomong sama asistennya, aku curhat. Tahu nggak sih gue udah nggak sama bos lu tahu, lalalala. Oh pantesan soalnya gue ngeliat di DM-nya dia chattingan sama A. Maksudnya chattingan apa? Gue salah ya gitu kayak. Hah? Nggak. Kasih tahu. Dia kirim screen recordnya, dan selama ini ternyata dia ngomong sayang-sayangan, kirim makanan bareng, dan kayak pokoknya separah itu lah. Intinya ada momen hari dimana nih cowok ngasih aku makanan lah, terus aku kayak oh thank you. Ternyata makanan itu dari tuh cewek, dan itu ada di chat itu. Terus gue kayak yang kemarin gue makan itu dari dia. Jadi ternyata aku banyak lah find out kalau dia tuh ternyata selama ini selingkuh, sering berdua dan lain-lain. Dan even ceweknya tuh yang kayak, aduh ini supaya ini orang entertain lagi, mungkin kalau dia tahu itu ya udahlah ya. Aku nggak nyebut nama juga kan?
Ya, no.
Iya, tapi pasti dia ngerasa. Tapi sekarang udah punya pasangan kok dia. Jadi kayak dia tuh di DM-nya ngeposting lagi sakit gitu kan di second act. Terus mantan aku ini kayak, kenapa lagi sakit ya? Iya kehujanan gitu. Terus loh kan tadi udah aku payungin. Terus enggak, orang kamu pas ada Davina kamu ngelepas payungnya, kenapa? Takut sama Davina. Wah, gue marah banget. Gue paling gak bisa digituin.
Oh no.
Aduh ini seru banget lagi. Tapi kan aku gak nyebut namanya guys.
Oh no.
Iya.
The audacity.
Iya, jadi itu cewek kayak Rani in real life dong.
Ya.
Kenapa lo gini-gini? Dia nggak tahu kalau dirinya itu ada selingkuhan. Gitu, dan di situ aku kayak,
waduh.
So aku di situ,
Waduh.
bla bla bla. Terus nih cowok masih ngejar dong besok-besok ya.
Yeah,
Nggak tahu
yeah.
tuh kalau aku tahu isi chat semuanya itu.
Yeah.
Dia nggak tahu kalau aku tahu semuanya lah apa yang mereka lakukan.
Yeah.
Masih banyak lagi hal-hal yang gila lah pokoknya. Terus dia ngobrol, tapi anehnya dia mau ngobrol sama aku, dia ngomong, Dev, sorry, aku bilang, B, kita harus ketemu ya, aku pengen clearin aja semuanya, karena kan maksudnya kita putus tapi kita masih sering makan berdua lah dan lain-lain, maksudnya I wanna make it clear aja. Terus oke, ketemunya mau kapan? Kayak gitu. Oke, pas break aja. Ya udah, akhirnya dia datang ke ruangan aku tanpa merasa bersalah karena dia nggak tahu kalau aku tahu apa yang dia lakukan. Masuk ruangan, Dev, iya jadi gimana? Dari kamu dulu. Oke. Terus aku bilang, nggak usah, dari lo dulu aja, gue panjang. Ngomong kayak gitu. Iya kayaknya bener deh, kita nggak usah pacaran dulu. Dan itu aku masih 18-19 tahun, masih kecil lah gitu kan, maksudnya masih remaja. Dan itu dia ngomong gitu, ya kayak kita lebih baik nggak usah pacaran, nggak usah ini dulu, fokus karir dan lain-lain. Terus akhirnya gue bilang, oh iya aku setuju, kayaknya kita emang fokus karir. Dan ya walaupun aku udah tahu sih semuanya, udah baca isi chatnya, udah tahu kirim makanan dimsum yang waktu itu, udah ini udah gini, masalah payung lah, lo mayungin dia depan gue gini, dia langsung diem. Langsung dia bener-bener diem kayak, tapi gue nggak apa-apa, gue bilang, tapi gue nggak apa-apa kan emang, makanya gue pengen bikin clear aja, gue udah tahu semuanya dan itu alasan gue kenapa gue nggak mau. Kita udah selesai. Terus dia bener-bener dia diem. Dav, sorry ya. Dia mau ngedeket gue kayak no, mundur.
No.
Jangan sentuh gue. Sejijik itu.
No way.
Beneran,
No way.
loh kayak orang jijik.
No way.
Lihat orang tuh gue merasakan kayak
No.
even dia cuman
No way.
ke tangan kayak sorry ya.
Brother.
Ya ada sana makan dimsum aja loh. Maksudnya yang kayak Enggak. Udah sampai setuju itu, sampai nangis dia. Itu di lokasi syuting.
No.
Sampai harusnya dia take telekonya sampai depan pintu ngeliat kejadian itu. Gue kan emang, maksudnya aku masuk ruangan, pintuku dibuka. Ya orang mau lihat gue aja, gue cuma mau ngomong doang. Itu bener pintunya dibuka, jadi telekonya kayak, ayo yuk be, ayo take yuk. Dia masih, Dav, enggak bentar. Dav, gue kayak, nah. Udah, take aja, gue udah yang kayak gitu. Pada saat itu. Dan sampai sekarang, lucunya, si A gak tahu kalau aku tahu. Oh, dan aku setelah project itu ketemu dia lagi. Dan dia yang kayak, dia gak nyapa aku, dia malah gak enakan sama aku. Tapi aku yang nyapa kayak, hai apa kabar gitu.
You know what? I'll give A some credit. Tahu diri kan dia tetap. Iya, tahu diri. No, Jadi I hate the people that you know damn well you are cheating on this person's partner, and you're still like the person that the spouse or the partner of the person that you're cheating with, and you act like y'all are fucking besties.
Dengar dulu, ini belum selesai. At first dia kayak gak enakan, tapi mungkin karena akunya, hai apa kabar? Ya aku gue ngerasa ya kita udah selesai, gue nggak perlu kesel sama lo. Iya dong, gue udah putus juga. Tapi lama-lama dia yang nggak tahu diri, kayak yang kemarin gimana tuh, which is B. Yang kemarin gimana, kok bisa putus? Dia tuh yang kayak gitu di lokasi. Dan kalau gue mau jahat, gue bakal ngomong, kan lo selingkuh sama dia. Kalau gue mau jahat ya. Tapi kan gue nggak gitu. Gue nggak mau apa ya? Gue masih ngejaga nama lo nih. Tapi kalau lo lama-lama nggak, karena akunya baik mungkin, akunya tuh masih, hai apa kabar?
Oh, you are so much better than me. I would have ripped her hair off.
Teman-teman aku udah yang kayak, Dav, udah yang pada, udahlah Dav nggak usah. Dia tuh udah nyolot, maksudnya dia tuh lo baikin dia malah makin nggak tahu diri gitu. At first dia emang takut, tapi karena aku, hai apa kabar? Blablabla. Ya karena aku rasa, udah selesai masalahnya. Lo silakan ambil cowok gue, silakan lanjutin. Dia udah lanjutin dan cuma 2 bulan putus. Terus project sama aku, gitu loh. Jadi itu tuh bener-bener lucu banget ceritanya. Dan aku kayak, lama-lama dia kayak mulai, yang kemarin cerita dong, kok bisa putus? So-so gitu. Terus aku kayak, enggak lah, urusan pribadi. Aku tuh yang kayak gitu-gitu mulu. Tapi dia itu mancing mulu. Kalau pada saat itu aku mungkin udah di tahap sekarang aku udah yang kayak, bodo amat lah orang mau gimana. Mungkin aku bakal kayak, kan lo yang selingkuh. Gue mungkin bakal kayak gitu. Karena yang the truth is emang gitu. Tapi gue masih kasihan.
You're a homewrecker. Gituin.
Iya, jadi kayak ya udahlah. Sampai sekarang dia nggak tahu loh. Tapi dia kadang tuh masih sering nge-reply story aku. Ini salon di mana gitu. Ini sepatu kamu beli di mana? Masih kayak gitu.
No, you know what's very interesting, like the parallel between your story and my story with Alexa. Alexa also doesn't know that I know. No, there's more. I'm not even, Mike, I've not even touched the fucking surface. You're not ready for this. So, not only were they going out, having like dinner, lunch, and she would not invite me. And then when she and I were having dinner, lunch together, she would not tell me that, I went out, grabbed lunch, dinner with your boyfriend, apa kayak gitu. Not only that, oh my gosh. And then the pandemic happened. 2020 happened. You know how like the world shut down? I had to go back. We were in Los Angeles, right? So she is from California.
Okay.
I'll just say that. She's from California. And my boyfriend, he's an Indian international student, right? But he didn't go back to India.
Okay.
I went back to Indonesia because my mom started freaking out, right? And at that time too, Indonesia was threatening to close the borders, right? And to stop like traveling and everything. So my mom was like, oh, hell fucking no, you're coming home, right? So I went home. The first time, I'm telling you, my boyfriend and Alexa, they knew each other. I think at this point, they've already been friends for like a good 7-8 months. Like, that's a long time.
Yeah,
right? In 7-8 months of you two being friends with one another, this was the first time that the three of us have ever been in the same room together is when she was dropping me off at the airport. So her and my boyfriend dropped me off at the airport, said bye-bye and everything. Like, I'll see you when I see you if the world doesn't fucking like blow up into fucking pieces, right? And then I was in the airport. I was waiting for my flight to go back to Jakarta. And then I was FaceTiming my boyfriend. I was FaceTiming my boyfriend. You know what he said? He was like, oh yeah, no, I'm at Alexa's place because she wants to watch anime together. And I was like, oh, okay. I like literally just left the country, but okay. Yeah, at that point, no. At that point, I started getting pissed. Okay, at that point, I started kind of getting like a little bit like suspicious. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
And also because this isn't. There were so many other incidents that happened before this scene at the airport that I forgot to mention. Number one time after finals week, after midterms, Alexa's the type. She's very lightweight. And she was celebrating with alcohol because she finished her midterms and she did really well, right? And zaman Snapchat.
Oh, yeah,
and so
yeah,
she
yeah.
was sending me like a bunch of Snapchats of her like selfie video apa lagi kayak like having fun in her room all by herself kayak gitu, and she was drunk, right? So it was midterm season and everything, and so I was like, hey, you go bestie, right? My boyfriend was downstairs. My boyfriend was downstairs, like at my place. So he texted me. He was like, "Babe, I'm downstairs. Can you come pick me up?" I got come down and pick him up because we pakai access card kan.
Yeah.
I came down. The weirdest fucking thing. All of a sudden, I opened the elevator door open. I saw my boyfriend FaceTiming somebody. It was Alexa. Alexa drunk called my boyfriend.
What?
And my boyfriend, and I could tell from the look in his face, he was so awkwarded out. And so he got into the elevator. He's like, oh yeah, here's Inda. And then, she, like Alexa on the phone was like, oh hi, have fun, the both of you. Apa kayak gitu. And then we hung up, right? And then they hung up. And that was like the first time I had like my boyfriend and we had a serious conversation with one another of like my boyfriend starting to be suspicious of like, what is she trying to do, right? But then I was gak ada alasan lah, balls deep in denial pokoknya. Up until like a bunch of other things, months rolled by, and then the airport thing happened, right? I like literally just went back to Jakarta. He head back to her place to watch anime together, blah, blah, blah. And that wasn't even like the worst part. And then I landed in Jakarta. A few days later, you know what happened? You know what this man told me? He was like, babe, Alexa wants to sleep over at my place. Wants to have a sleepover at my place.
Terus?
Oh wait, no, hold on. No, hold on.
Oh yeah.
No.
It's okay.
Oh wait, no, hold on.
You need to take care of my best friend.
Wait, no, hold on. I'm getting the story backwards.
Okay.
I'm getting the story backwards. He texted me. He was like, "Oh, Alexa wants to come over to my place." Yeah, you pouring the drinks. Alexa wants to come over to my place because she wants to watch anime kayak gitu, and she wants to cook. She wants to cook. I've been friends with this. Shut the fuck up. I've been friends with this bitch for 4 years, bitch. For 4 years. She never. No. The only time she ever cooked for me, you know when the only time she ever cooked for me in my place was
What?
because I baru selesai operasi gigi bungsu and I was like really like fucked up and everything, and she cooked for me. That was like the only time. This bitch, by her own, the only way I got her to like cook for me at my place was because I was so like fucked up from surgery that she had to like take care of me. She, by her own volition, wanted to go over to my boyfriend's house to cook him food and watch anime. Oh, and that's not all. And then she got drunk again. And then she passed out. And then she passed out at his place. And that's when my boyfriend called me and was like, I think she's gonna have to stay the night because she's really drunk. She can't drive home. And so I was like, well, okay, fine. Yeah, because she can't drive home. I don't want her to like drunk drive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I was like, okay, fine.
Tapi
And then
bagusnya pacar dia, your boyfriend tuh masih ngabarin terus.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Untungnya loh.
No, and then she went home the next day. And then you know what happened a few days afterwards? She came back. She came back. She came back, and not only that, she came over, like cook, like food and everything, like watch movies together, blah blah blah. She stayed the night, not for one night.
Wait,
for 2 nights.
Kamu nggak ngelarang, babe? Aku nggak suka bla bla bla.
No, at this point, no. To be honest, at this point, I wanted to see what she was trying to do.
Oh, oke. Masih kayak lo mau ngapain
Yeah.
gitu ya?
So
Ya,
I was
ya,
like,
ya.
let it unfold. Let me see what she's
As long
trying
your
to do.
boyfriend masih update terus ya.
Yeah. But she didn't stay for one night. She stayed for 2 nights. No, and it was so bad. My boyfriend had to call me and like while she was asleep and was like, I want her to go home already, and she hasn't brushed her teeth in like the last 24 hours. But like I don't know how to tell her to like go home. And I was like, I think you should just tell her like so directly like, hey, so like I had to go
Yeah,
somewhere.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
and
yeah.
make excuses at that point. And then it gets even worse. His parents video called him, and then she was like right back there. His parents knew that he was dating me, and so he saw another Asian woman. And it got him into like awkward conversations with his parents. Jadi udah kayak menyusahin banget gitu.
Iya dong.
And then even worse. This is the worst one. This is like actually like, and the worst part. When I tell you, like, this is like the cherry on top of the shit cake.
Okay.
So the second time that she slept over, she said that she was going to sleep over, right?
Okay.
Dibiarin satu malam, like a one night sleepover. Ended up staying for 2 nights. Overstayed her stay.
Yeah.
Why did she have red lingerie packed in an overnight bag in the back of her car?
Tahu dari?
My boyfriend. She wore red lingerie the second night she slept over. That's when I was like, oh, okay, I'm not stupid. I'm stupid, but I'm not that stupid. Oh, I know what she's trying to do. Like, now it all makes sense. Like, everything all started to make sense. I was like, okay.
This is what you
Yeah. And it was I wish the story went that I confronted her and I called her out on her shit and then like I blocked her and everything, but no, that did not happen. What actually happened was I cried for like 2 weeks because I was really like sad because I was just like really disappointed. Like, why would she like throw away like years of friendship just for like a man?
Iyalah.
You know what I mean? It's not like you can't get other like
Boy,
rich.
huh?
If your type is rich Indian men, like there are lots of other rich Indian men out there. You know what I mean? Like mine is not the only one. So I like for 2 weeks I was like crying about it, and then like I confronted her. I did confront her in a way that I wish I had been more direct, but I think it's because like I just
Iya, karena
ya gitulah.
Iya, best friend.
Yeah.
Ya nggak
But
bisa lah.
tapi I confronted her kan. Terus
Kayak gimana?
I was like, hey, can I just ask like, I thought I would start small. I don't want to like unload the whole like, why the fuck were you like wearing red lingerie around my man and like you overstayed your stay and like ngapain kamu sleep over at my boyfriend's house kayak gitu, right? But I was like, okay, let's do baby steps here. I'm just wondering, why did you never invite me every time you invited my boyfriend out to lunch or dinner? Is it because you didn't want me there? I started like that, right? And this bitch went, I'm so sorry that you think that way. It's like, I just thought that you would know me by now, that I like to keep my friendships separate.
Your friendship?
You, like, huh? Like, at that point I was like, the way that she responded to me, I was like, you really disrespect me, huh? Like, you actually, like, you don't respect me and you think I'm stupid.
Iyalah.
Like, terus gaslighting anjing.
Iya.
Terus gaslighting, I'm sorry you think that way. No, that is what you do. Like, what do you mean I think that way? You've never invited me.
And harusnya gimana?
Terus alasannya, because I like to keep my friendships separate. That makes no sense. You introduce me to all your other friends.
Iya.
Kenapa kalau if it's my boyfriend,
Emang
like,
udah
dasarnya kayak kayak gitulah. And then I forgot. I got so mad at that point that I kind of just basically like ghosted her, and then I unfollowed her on Instagram. And I didn't unfollow her just yet, but I muted my story.
Okay.
And then lama-lama, I kind of let the friendship just like expire on its own because she like, I was hoping that she would message me, right? Like more than just that, but that was all she said.
Gue pernah minta maaf sampai sekarang?
No. That was the last thing she said. She was like, I'm sorry you think that way, but you should know me that I like to keep my
mungkin
friendship
habis
separate.
ini Alexa bakal ngechat kok. Nonton episode ini kayak, hi.
Tapi, that's what I keep thinking about. It's like, damn, we were best friends for 3 years, and it really meant nothing to you that not only did you tried to steal my boyfriend away from me, but also when I confronted you about it, and I know you're not stupid, you got the sense that I'm rubbed off like some type of bad way about it. You didn't even bother to like message me. Like there's no follow up. There was no big paragraphs explaining yourself. There was no I'm sorry. There was no there wasn't even any hi, how are you doing, like we haven't talked in a while, like how's mom, how's everything, nothing. Like I stopped hearing from her. That's it. And that's how my friendship ended. That's how my friendship ended. And then I wish the story ended there, but okay, and this is like really the last part of the story, and then afterwards I was so done. I remember the Christmas after me and my boyfriend, we broke up. We dated knowing that we were going to break up, because I was most likely going to, I think at that time, no, it was either I stayed in LA or I went back to Jakarta.
Okay.
But he was going to San Francisco, so long distance. That's why, right?
Jadi putusnya bukan karena Alexa.
No, we
Okay.
broke up because like, hey, we had a good time. It's over. Thank you for everything. Have a good life out there, right? Perfect, like nice, happy ending.
Iya.
And then the Christmas after we broke up, not Christmas, sorry. When's Thanksgiving, Jax? When's Thanksgiving in the U.S.? October.
Actually, November.
No, November, October. Thanksgiving. Pokoknya I remember Thanksgiving. He sent me a Snapchat. Kan we were fine, right? Kan we
Iya,
like, you know,
iya.
we're
Hubungannya
amicable,
baik, iya.
baik, civil, kayak gitu, friendly, kayak gitu. And then he Snapchatted me a selfie of him and guess who? Alexa, in the car together, on the way to her parents' house for Thanksgiving. What? At that point, I was like, aku udah gak mau tahu lah.
Untungnya udah putus.
Ya udah putus. I
Tapi
was like,
tetap aja.
I was like, at that point, I don't want to know. I don't want to know if y'all end up fucking, if y'all are like dating right now. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care.
Yeah,
It's none of my fucking business anymore. Fuck you. Fuck her. And that's the end of the story.
Damn. Gila sih.
Yeah. So you want to talk about cheating? That's the story with me. Gila nggak?
Gila banget lah.
I hate those.
Nggak, lebih baik lo nggak usah Snapchat sih. Lo nggak usah snap gue nggak mau tahu ya kan.
Yeah, at the very
Yeah.
least, like keep me ignorant. Like, oh my gosh, I don't know. That was. Oh my god. That was so annoying. Terus captionnya, guess who invited me for Thanksgiving because she knew that I was going to be sad spending Thanksgiving alone without my family. Janco,
Aduh.
Tapi ya, gitulah.
Tapi untungnya udah enggak lah ya. Udah
No.
biarlah mereka.
No, I'm just so glad I got to air that out on camera today. I've always wanted to tell that story. Oh my goodness.
Aku cerita tadi nggak pernah aku cerita di mana-mana.
Yeah,
Cuman
same.
ya best friend
Yeah,
aja.
same.
Iya kan?
Yeah.
Cuma teman-teman deket doang, apalagi entertain.
Yeah.
Takutnya kan tahu orangnya kan.
Yeah, but it's okay. You didn't say names.
Iya.
Yes, and her name is definitely Alexa. like the Amazon Alexa. It's her. It's her. Amazon tried to steal my man. But yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. And side note, I said this to Jax before we started recording. I really hope what happened to Han So Hee doesn't
Yeah.
happen to you because of this movie. No, because people out there are stupid.
Iya. Tapi terjadi sih sejauh ini. Cuman mungkin nggak physically ya, nggak
Yeah.
ketemu di real life. Tapi kayak di comment, di DM dan apapun itu udah yang kayak lo anjing banget, lo Rani lo.
Yeah,
Tapi
yeah.
ya aku sih nggak yang kayak selama lo nggak nyakitin gue, nggak, maksudnya nggak nyampe physical attack ya, maksudnya cuman itu ya oke lah.
Because who was the actress you said that yang dicubit? What's her name?
Iya, Anya di Layangan Putus.
Iya, Layangan
Dia emang
Putus.
dicubit gitu kan in real life
Iya.
sama emak-emak.
Kayak sampai di physically harass kayak gitu.
Iya.
So that's why, like after this movie, after this movie's released in theaters, get bodyguards.
Iya, makanya pakai halo.
Bukan Rani.
Iya.
Berarti actingnya bagus ya.
Iya, tapi ya di
That's
satu
true.
sisi aku kayak berarti
You
berhasil.
play the role of a homewrecker so well.
Iya.
Well, I can't tell yet. I'm gonna have to find out on June 13.
Yes.
In theaters nationwide, you can get your tickets on MTix, Tix ID. What is the other one? CGV and Cinepolis. And I think that's it. It's not gonna be on IMAX, right? But it's okay. You don't need IMAX to. The horrors of adultery doesn't have to be in 3D. So it's fine. But yeah, I think that's it for today's episode. Thank you so much.
Thank you
For being on this episode. This was really fun. I usually talk about politics, but this was fun to just like talk about, oh yeah, my fucking best friend like tried to steal my man. This was a fun change. So thank you for being here. And yeah, be sure to like, comment, and fucking subscribe, you cunts. Go watch Ipar Adalah Maut, June 13. I'll be going to the gala on June 10.
Yes.
Not you guys, because I'm special, and you're not. Remember that. Okay? Bye-bye!